This energetic young man is our protagonist, Ba Kai. He's a top-tier streamer who just reached the game's ultimate throne. Just then, a system announcement echoed in every player's ear. The king who unified the 8 kingdoms has finally reached the supreme seat, the Vuong Han Chi Toa. Congratulations, you are the first king to sit on the Vuong Han Chi Toa. Your mysterious reward has been granted and can be used in the right situation. I finally beat it. Ba Kai shouted happily during his live stream. He thought he could finally sit back and enjoy his achievement. But no, before our protagonist could even celebrate, he was assassinated by a mysterious figure. An ant trying to become a king, I can't let that slide. You must be eliminated. That was the last thing Ba Kai heard before his vision faded to black. And when he woke up again, Ba Kai was still in utter shock. What happened? I vaguely remember being stabbed to death by someone. But why is it like this now? Where am I? Ba Kai said as he glanced down at his stomach where the stab wound should have been. But there was nothing there. But at that moment, he also realized he was surrounded by dead bodies. The horrifying scene made him scream. Dead bodies is this hell? I've never harmed anyone in my past life. How could I end up in hell? Wait a minute. Who am I? As he said this, a splitting headache hit Ba Kai, causing him to cry out in pain. My head hurts so much it feels like it's about to explode. Who on earth am I? Wait, I remember now. My name is Ba Kai, 20 years old, and I was a game streamer before I died. I wasn't famous, but my fan base recently exploded thanks to a live stream of a special game. It was an open-world action RPG called Vuong Han Chi Toa. The setting was based on a medieval Western fantasy story, an imaginative setup where an alien assault ship suddenly malfunctions combined with ancient civilization and future technology. It was popular for its unique world-building, impressive story and graphics. However, the game's absurd difficulty discouraged most players, so tons of people tuned into live streams just to watch streamers struggle. With my godlike skills, I gave viewers a stunning and authentic gameplay experience, raking in tons of donations. But just as I was about to reach the peak of my life, I died a mysterious death. Just as our protagonist thought of this, a voice suddenly rang in his head, startling him. You died, but you're still alive. More accurately, you've been reincarnated. Finally, you've recovered from the negative effects of reincarnation, right? Who's talking? This familiar voice is the voice assistant from the GameGo platform. Ignoring Ba Kai's words, the system voice continued to explain, from a multi-dimensional perspective, every game created is an independently existing world. Player Ba Kai, your death automatically activated the special reward, the Key of Reincarnation, that you received in Vuong Han Chi Toa. You have now been reincarnated into the world of Vuong Han Chi Toa. Hearing this, Ba Kai understood everything. Then he said with a tremor, I've been reincarnated into the world of Vuong Han Chi Toa. So that special reward was reincarnation. Although I died for an unknown reason, I still have a chance to come back. But come to think of it, why couldn't I be reborn into a world full of beautiful girls and fan service like in some summer romance game? What's the point of reincarnating into a hellish world like Vuong Han Chi Toa? I'd rather have stayed dead. At least then I wouldn't have to suffer, Ba Kai said angrily. In response to his question, the system explained the Key of Reincarnation is an exclusive reward for Vuong Han Chi Toa. Other games don't have this kind of merciful reward. Hearing this explanation, Ba Kai became suspicious. Mercy? I think you mean malice. I have deep experience with this game, and with its nature, it would never give out benefits for free. Tell me your real purpose. What do you want me to do? And just as Ba Kai suspected this system had a purpose for resurrecting him, it's simple, you just need to become the ruler and sit on the Vuong Han Chi Toa once again. This time, becoming king will grant you a much greater reward called the GameGo Platform World Traversal Key, allowing you to travel through worlds. You can even choose to return to your original world. Upon hearing this, Ba Kai yelled, You lunatic! Why didn't you just give me this awesome reward from the start? I'm interested, but I can't do it. The game's infinite respawn mechanic will definitely be gone. And in this hellish world of Vuong Han Chi Toa, with its insane difficulty, even a stray dog on the street can teach you a lesson about starting over. Seeing Ba Kai refuse the system quickly explained, although there's no infinite respawn mechanic, you're not starting from scratch. You're not empty-handed. On the GameGo game platform, your account has 100 games, and you have achievements of various types. You can complete different quests and objectives to unlock the main characters of these 100 games, inheriting their powerful abilities and equipment. Back to Bokkai. When the system said this, he couldn't help but shout, "What? I can inherit the powers and equipment of the main characters from my 100 games." After speaking, Bokkai thought to himself, "Damn, that's pretty sweet. I can finally feel a bit of this so-called mercy. I'm a fan of all game genres, not just the popular ones. So among these 100 games are everything from mainstream AAA masterpieces to obscure indie titles and even text-based adventures with no graphics. If I can use the powers and gear of the protagonists from those games in the world of Vuong Han Chi Toa, just thinking about it is exciting." The system then offered Bokkai another choice. Of course, you can also choose to live as a commoner without any powers. The final choice is yours, and this suggestion really made Bokkai think carefully. A commoner seems safe. Caution and conservatism might keep me away from the most dangerous monsters, but I'd still face deadly dangers like disasters and famine. This makes no sense. The system is just offering me the commoner option to make me more determined to become king. Thinking this, Bokkai clarified his goal and said with a smile, "All right, you don't have to trick me anymore. I was a commoner for 20 years in my past life. It wasn't easy getting reincarnated. I can't repeat that life. Final question, is there a time limit or any related penalties for the quest to become king?" There are no time limits or penalties, so player Bokkai, are you sure you want to choose the main quest of becoming king? The system said coldly. And Bokkai confidently replied, "Do I have any other choice? Of course I'm sure." As soon as Bokkai finished speaking, the system gave a confirmation notice. The contract is established. Player Bokkai, I wish you a swift return to the Vuong Han Chi Toa. Then his consciousness was sent back to his body. At that moment, a voice echoed by his ear, "Hey kid, over here, over here." "That's right, I'm talking to you while hanging upside down." Hearing this, Bokkai was surprised and looked up. But before he could ask anything, the voice spoke again. "Weren't you asleep for the past few days, kid? I thought you were about to rot. How are you alive again? Could you be a reincarnator? But it doesn't matter now that you're alive. Hurry up and find a way to get us down before those monsters return to the cave. Let's get out of this cursed place together." The owner of this voice was an elf with golden hair. His name is Gray Level 21, and he's the princess's elven mage guard. Right after Gray finished speaking, the human man next to him shouted, "Are you kidding me, Gray? As a royal guard to Princess Mina, you're waiting for a coward who's scared of death to save us. Didn't you see him crying for his mommy and daddy in fear a few days ago? This is crazy. If it weren't for those good-for-nothings, we wouldn't be in this situation. This man is Hool's Level 22, a human warrior, and the princess's guard." Hearing their words, the Beastman Hunter, another of the princess's guards, Daegu, Level 20, sighed and said, "Princess Mina Royal Guards restoring the kingdom. None of that matters at this point. Let's just die like this. I'm so tired." Daegu said in a voice filled with exhaustion. Turning to Bokkai after overhearing the three of them, he looked up at an unconscious girl and focused on her, Mina Ever 12, a human priestess and the princess of the Tin Du Kingdom. The Tin Du Kingdom Princess Mina. These were all familiar names. As he thought about it, his memories slowly returned, startling him into silence. Wait a minute, these are the starting NPCs I'm supposed to meet. Besides this, Wailing Cave wasn't the original starting zone of the game. How terrifying if I had chosen to be a commoner on the main quest line. I would have died right at the start, Bokkai thought in a panic. Only then did he calmly observe the cave's surroundings. This was the Wailing Cave, a level 20 to 30 map, but our main character was currently only level 1 and hadn't even chosen a class yet. The malice of this hellish difficulty level was truly unexpected yet logical, Bokkai thought to himself. After confirming he was in the Wailing Cave, our main character felt his head spin a little. What's going on? The main story's order is a complete mess now. The beginning of the game's first chapter should be me spawning in Ankie Village at levels 1 to 10. Then I'd go to the Burning Forest at levels 10 to 20 to do quests. And after activating the mandatory storyline, I'd get captured and taken to the level 20 to 30 cave dungeon to rescue Princess Mina and her companions who were hanging upside down. And finally, we'd cooperate to escape the dungeon. Never mind, I can't think about that right now. I need to choose a starting class to form a concrete strategy. Escaping is more important. Thinking this, Bok Kai tossed aside the messed up script and said, "System, initiate the starting class selection." Hearing his request, the system immediately displayed a notification acknowledged. Starting class selection has been initiated. Player Bok Kai, please choose your class. Valiant Warrior, a melee class equipped with a long sword and shield, balanced in offense and defense. Sorcerer, a ranged class that uses a staff and magic capable of both attack and healing. Assassin, a melee and ranged class that uses daggers and throwing knives, excelling in attack speed and agility. Elemental Ranger, a melee and ranged class that uses a staff or bow and arrow, manipulating the power of natural elements to attack. The Abandoned One, a class scorned by others and despised by the lower ranks. It has no special characteristics or additional armor, starting with only a cloth shirt and a wooden staff. Hearing the system's introduction, Bok Kai didn't hesitate to choose the most useless class. Is there even a question? My choice is the same as always, the pioneering and first clear class, the Abandoned One. When Bok Kai stated his choice, even the system seemed confused and said, "With so many useful classes, why did you choose the one with the weakest abilities and lowest survivability? I thought your choice would be different this time." Hearing the system's question, Bok Kai wasn't surprised and slowly explained. Class selection in Han Vuong Chi Toa affects your survival rate and playstyle. And although you can change classes starting from the mid-game, you can never escape the framework of your major class. Only the Abandoned One, a class with an extremely difficult survival rate, can find a key hidden NPC in the mid-game to reset attribute points and switch classes freely without restrictions as long as you get past the desperate hell of the early game. Although it has the highest difficulty, it also has the highest potential, and its biggest hidden trait is the ability to achieve all class achievements in one go through infinite class changes without having to restart multiple times with different classes. This is also why I was able to be the first person to clear the game and get all the achievements. Back to the system, after hearing Bok Kai's explanation, it had to admire him. I see you are a meticulous and adventurous person. Back to the main topic, you truly are a high-level player. The main quest has been updated. At this point, it also presented the main quest for Bok Kai to see. Main quest, survive and reach the cave exit. Quest reward 1 account, unlock point. 1 point can unlock 25% usage rights for items in the current game account's inventory randomly with no level restrictions. 2, or randomly unlock a new game account and its corresponding 25% item and skill usage rights. Turning back to Bok Kai, after reading the quest requirements, he had determined his first objective. So escaping this dungeon alive is the top priority, right? Well then, Bok Kai said as he conveniently picked up a staff and pushed himself up from a pile of corpses. Meanwhile, seeing him wake up, Ray hurriedly called out, "You're finally awake, kid. See that rope over there? Untie it, and you can let us down. We can escape together." Perfect. Hearing this from below, Bok Kai glanced at the stone pillar wrapped in ropes. Seeing this, Ray said happily, "That's right, that's the one." Dagu also said, "Untie it." Turning back to Bok Kai as he stood before the stone pillar, he thought for a moment. "Untie it? Do you guys know the consequences of untying it, Bok?" Kai silently thought of the future scenario if he decided to rescue this group where all of them had been saved by him. And right after being freed, Ray scratched his head and said with a laugh, "Thanks, kid. Without you, we'd still be hanging there waiting to die. My neck is so stiff." In contrast to his cheerful attitude, Dagu said boredly, "I'd rather hang in midair and wait to die than actively seek death." Meow, meow. Turning to House after hearing these two still chatting calmly, he shouted, "This isn't the time for that. Hurry up and think of a way to wake the princess." Ray heard this and said with a smile, come on. Can't you stop scowling all day, House?" But before he could finish his sentence, a greatsword suddenly swung right at him, sending him flying backward like a cannonball. The cave wall cracked into pieces from his impact, and this surprise attack made the cat person Dagu break out in a cold sweat. And the owner of this attack was a large horned figure with a ferocious appearance. He was the leader of the Dik Thu clan Blood Axe Mo Dik level 30. At that moment he looked at the tiny people before him and said coldly, "As food, you should stay obediently in the storage room." On the other side, House immediately recognized the big guy's identity and shouted, "This is the leader of the Ditch Thu clan. Why did he suddenly appear?" That is what would happen if Bok Kai decided to rescue them. That's right. If I choose to rescue them here, what awaits us is the boss of this dungeon. This battle will be very difficult, and everyone will have to give it their all. But if I fight in my current state of no attributes, no level, and no equipment, I'll definitely die. Back to the fight. After seeing the large Dick Thu beast charge at him, Bok Hai could still calmly assess the situation. Even if I choose not to save them, a fight is unavoidable. Defeating a level 5 monster is difficult, but not impossible, Bok Hai thought as he rolled on the ground to dodge a powerful club swing from the monster. Seeing this, the Dick Thu beast angrily swung its club again, but Bok Hai dodged it by rolling like a top. At this point, even the monster itself felt a bit surprised, and the 3 people, including Ray tied up like dumplings above, couldn't believe their eyes. "Damn, he dodged twice in a row. Is that kid just ridiculously lucky?" House exclaimed. But Ray, with his keen eyesight, said, "It's not luck. His 2 dodges were extremely clumsy, but his timing was incredibly precise." The cat person, Daegu, next to him, agreed. "That kid's not simple. It's not wrong to say all reincarnators are strange. But what does that have to do with me? I just want to die now." Back to Bok Kai. After consecutively dodging 2 attacks from the big guy, he became much more confident. "Very good. The connection between my body and consciousness is seamless. Although I don't have the support of class equipment attributes, the experience and reflexes from countless battles remain." Next, the real torment begins. And while Bok Kai was still thinking, the Ditch Thu beast opposite him became furious. After 2 missed attacks, it decided not to fight with its hands anymore and pulled out a grenade, throwing it straight at Bok Kai. It's unknown if the grenade hit Bok Kai, but as soon as it was thrown, it created a sizable explosion. Seeing this, the Dick Thu beast laughed as if it had won the lottery. But it didn't laugh for more than a few seconds before falling silent because Bok Kai immediately charged out from within the flames of the explosion. And while the big guy was still trying to understand what happened, he poured all his strength into his 2 hands and swung the staff hard right into the big guy's face, making his head snap to one side. After a long time chipping away at this tough beast's health, Bai Kai panted heavily and said, "The warm-up is over. This final blow will take your life." As Bai Kai spoke, he looked straight at the Ditch Thu beast that was roaring in fury and charging right at him. And as soon as it was within striking distance, he used all his strength to swing the staff in his hand, causing the monster's head to spin a full 360 degrees instantly. And just like that, using his superb skills, Bai Kai finished off the huge beast. Gary's group, still hanging suspended, was completely astonished. That kid's only level 1, and he killed a level 5 Ditch Thu without a scratch, with just that wooden staff. So impressive. The way that monster died was so cool, Daegu said wishfully. Even House had to admit Bai Kai's skill. "I admit I underestimated him, but he used all his energy just to barely kill 1 level 5 juvenile. This isn't a path to survival. It's a death sentence." Back to Bai Kai. After dealing with the beast, he collapsed onto the ground, gasping for air. Even if experience and prediction let him dodge all attacks, the gap in power couldn't be easily bridged. His stats and weapon were just too weak. But that's all right. Since I chose the Chi Z class, I have to use the unique Dao Hoa striking method. I must avoid all fights except for the absolutely necessary ones. Bai Kai thought to himself as the system displayed a congratulatory message. "Player Bai Kai has defeated a level 5 Ditch Thu juvenile. You have received 100 soul points, 2 gold coins, and the weapon Cracked Wolf Fang staff plus 5 to melee attack." Then our protagonist opened his status window. Level 1 soul, points 100 out of 1,000 gold coins 2. Strength 1 intelligence 1 agility, 1 perception 1 stamina, 1 melee attack 5 ranged attack 1. Bai Kai sighed just reading it. The stats are as pathetic as I thought, and I still need 900 soul points. Grinding monsters at this level isn't an option. I'll have to use the fastest and safest way to escape Wailing Cave. Thinking this, Bai Kai took out the Wolf Fang staff from his inventory, stood up, and prepared to leave. Seeing this, Gary, who was hanging above, quickly shouted out, "Wait a moment, little brother. Won't you reconsider my offer? There's strength in numbers. Our chances of survival would be much higher. Let us down. You can name your price money items, anything is fine. Gary tried desperately to persuade Bai Kai. But just then, a woman's voice cut in. That's enough, Gary. There is no need to plead with him. If we cannot rely on our own strength to escape, then dying here is nothing to be ashamed of. If we can't overcome a small crisis like this, how can we possibly face the greater dangers on our path to rebuilding our country? These words came from Princess Mina, who had woken up at some point. Hearing her, Gary cried out, Princess. Ignoring Gary, Mina looked straight at Bai Kai. A level 1 Chi Zi Your choice was incredibly foolish, but I respect it. You seem very confident, but I will say, this one should cherish their own life. Mina spoke with a completely composed voice and expression. Her demeanor earned Bai Kai's admiration. To remain so rational and elegant even in such a predicament, as expected of the princess of the Restoration Nation, Mina Tin Dieu. At this thought, he replied calmly, I do have my own calculations. I didn't want to say anything originally because even if I said I would definitely return to save you all, none of you would believe me. And sure enough, they didn't believe him. The one who reacted most fiercely was House. Upon hearing Bai Kai, he said angrily, What? Are you joking or just insulting our intelligence? But before he could say more, Princess Mina cut him off. That's enough, House. If you have the energy to shout, use it to think of an escape plan. Yes, yes, Princess, he quickly replied. Bai Kai glanced at them, recalling the original plot. According to the story, even if I don't save them, they will manage to escape on their own. However, if I really don't save them, I'll miss out on a few important rewards related to the princess. Whether to save them or not depends on if I can reach the exit smoothly and what the rewards are. Allies are important, that's true, but my own survival has to be the top priority. Wailing Cave is the final dungeon of the game's first chapter. It hides a lot of good gear. Originally, to collect all the items, I explored every corner of this cave, so I'm very familiar with the terrain. Therefore, to face the fewest and weakest enemies, there's only one path I can take. And I also need to save a key character. Bai Kai thought to himself while sneaking through the cave, trying his best to stay out of the monster's sight. Soon, our protagonist found his first target. In front of him was a battered bronze pot, but strangely, a voice was coming from it. It seemed to sense Bai Kai's presence and called out, Huh? Who is it? Who's there? That scent you're not from the Ditch Thu tribe. Come here. Come closer, don't be afraid. That's right, you must be wondering how a pot can talk, aren't you? Well, it's not the pot, but the person inside. It's quite shameful. But yes, I am the man in the pot. I came into this cave seeking treasure, but I had to hide in here to avoid the Ditch Thu tribe. Unfortunately, their magic sealed me inside the pot, and I can't escape. That's right, all you need to do is break the pot, and I can get out. Oh, and don't worry, I can tell there are no Ditch Thu around. The commotion definitely won't draw their attention. As for Bai Kai, he didn't need any more convincing, and had already decided to free the man. He walked over and shattered the pot into pieces with one strike. The person inside was overjoyed, and said, You did it, excellent work. You saved me. The man said this while staring intently at Bai Kai, and he seemed genuinely surprised when he realized who he was. Oh, a level 1 Chi Zi. How interesting. Regardless, the owner of the voice was named Lu Chi, level 27, his class unknown. In response, Bai Kai immediately started acting, saying with a sob, My friends were captured by the Ditch Thu tribe and brought to this cave. I want to save them, but I'm too weak. Please help me, Mr. Lu Chi. Hearing this, Lu Chi slowly got to his feet and said, So that's the situation, I understand now. You're courageous, but not very smart. Still, it's your lucky day because you ran into me. I'll keep you safe, so lead the way. Bai Kai immediately started to lead Lu Chi, but just as they returned to the main path, they ran into a hulking Ditch Thu. This was a level 18 adult Ditch Thu, and as soon as it spotted Bai Kai and the other man, it roared like a maniac and swung its giant hammer at them. Upon seeing it, Lu Chi flew into a rage. You're the one who trapped me in that pot, aren't you? You nearly left me to die in there. As he spoke, he blocked the hammer strike with his elbow, instantly losing 30% of his health. But immediately after, Lu Chi ran his sword through the Ditch Thu's abdomen, causing its health to plummet. And before the monster could even react, he shouted, Die! As Lu Chi spoke, he swung his sword and the Ditch Thu's head immediately flew off its shoulders. Bai Kai, standing to the side, seized the chance to flatter him. Amazing, Mr. Lu Qi, you're incredibly powerful. Hearing this, Lu Qi puffed out his chest and said, "Of course. Without this kind of skill, how would I dare enter Wailing Cave to search for treasure? Let's move on." And so the two continued on until Bai Kai led him to the edge of a chasm and said, "This is it. I can hear my friends' voices coming up from down there. I don't know how much longer they can last, Mr. Lu Qi. We need to quickly find a way to rescue them." "Simple this way is the fastest," Lu Qi said as he lifted his leg and kicked Bai Kai straight in the back. This caused him to lose his footing and fall directly into the chasm in front of him. After intentionally kicking Bai Kai off the cliff, the man didn't forget to apologize. "Whoops, sorry about that. An old habit of mine just acted up. I see someone by a ledge, and I just can't help but kick them off, eh? It's an unstoppable urge, you see. You did save me after all, but who told you to be a Trong Nien Jia? Everyone wants to kill a Trong Nien Jia." Just as he finished speaking, Bai Kai's voice echoed from below. "How did you know I was a Zhonggran Zhe?" Lu Qi was stunned when he heard Bai Kai's voice. "What? You survived a fall from that height?" Hearing this, Bai Kai replied coldly, "If I had jumped myself, I'd surely be dead. But if it was you, Mr. Lu Qi, who pushed me, I wouldn't die." As he said this, he thought to himself that while his words were tough, the pain of his shattered organs was excruciating. Fortunately, he knew there would be items to grab down below. From an aerial view, we can see the corpse of an exile next to Bai Kai. He surely looted the items from this body, and after a moment, he found what he needed using a bottle of Shui Hun and a piece of Hui Guang Shi. As for Lu Qi, knowing Bai Kai was still alive, he didn't dare jump down to finish the job and could only leave with regret. "I've long heard that Zhonggran Zhe are bizarre creatures. It seems my mistake was not stabbing you in the back before. Trapped in this abyss, your death is only a matter of time anyway. You can just wait to die." Unfortunately for him, things didn't go as planned, because Bai Kai was chugging a potion and recovering all his lost health. Lu Qi was a treacherous NPC who enjoyed kicking players into pits, but by exploiting the mechanic of being pushed without dying, one could reach many hidden places. However, Zhonggran Zhe. This setting had never appeared in Wang Hun Ji Zuo. System check what a Zhonggran Zhe is. The system immediately responded, "Zhonggran Zhe most related information is locked. The currently public information is that for special reasons, the dead can be resurrected." The system's answer made Bai Kai ponder locked information. It seems this setting is incredibly important, not just some simple bonus mechanic. Does everyone want to kill me? This Zhonggran Zhe identity is too troublesome. I need to be careful to avoid unnecessary trouble. With that thought, Bai Kai put aside matters concerning the Zhonggran Zhe, as that was a problem for the future. The important thing now was to escape this cave, not worry about that. However, success was not something everyone could achieve. The path ahead has no Yi Shou Zhu, but it's filled with deadly terrain, so I must focus. The real danger has only just begun. As he spoke, he turned to face forward, and before him was an ancient ruin. This was the hidden area of Hua Ling Cave, the Shi Luo Ruins level unknown. Wang Hun Ji Zuo is an open-world action-adventure game with a fragmented storytelling style. Players must find clues from NPCs, monsters, bosses, and ruins to piece together the world's truth. As a player who has cleared everything and gotten every achievement, I already know everything about this world, except for any new unknown elements, of course. In the center of the fantasy world called Bacalo, there is a giant crystal known as the Shi Jie Zi Hun. Under the protection of its light and energy, all species coexisted in harmony, and the world was full of life. Until one day, an alien spaceship called the Tian Feng ship, drifting unmanned through deep space, suddenly crashed into this world. Coincidentally, the place where this alien spaceship crashed was the exact location of the Shi Jie Ji Hun, and the foundation of this world collapsed. Although the apocalypse came to Bacalo, it was not completely destroyed. The world continued to fracture, creating even more diverse species and civilizations than before. The place I'm in now is one of the abandoned ruins of a dungeon civilization. And within these ruins, deep beneath Hua Ling Cave, there's an unmarked underground drainage exit. The mission only says to survive and reach the exit without specifying which gives me a loophole to exploit. However, even though this path isn't guarded by the Yi Shou Zhu, the death rate is much higher than the main route. You have to pinpoint the exact location of the platforms protruding from the stone walls, because a bad landing means certain death. But for someone like me who has traded countless deaths for experience, successfully reaching the bottom of the abyss is not a problem. The only thing to note is that the closer you get to the bottom, the narrower the metal platforms become, and the less weight they can bear. Even if I remember the location of each platform, I still need to be extremely cautious. Maintain balance. Just as he thought this, our protagonist actually slipped on one of the metal platforms. Luckily, with his quick reflexes, Bai Kai immediately regained his balance. At this point, Bai Kai had to slow down a bit to compose himself, then looked down and said, "Phew, that was dangerous. Even being careful, an accident almost happened. I need to be even more cautious. I'm almost at the bottom." Bai Kai said cheerfully, unaware that a figure had appeared behind him at some point. Then this person touched Bai Kai's shoulder and laughed. "Is that so? We're at the exit already." So, the exit is at the bottom. The sudden voice behind him startled Bai Kai, causing him to whip around. Without a moment's hesitation, he swung the spiked mace in his hand towards the source of the sound. But unfortunately, the figure seemed to have anticipated Bai Kai's attack, so he just lightly stepped back. He calmly stood on another metal platform while Bai Kai stared at him and shouted, "Who? Who are you?" In response to his question, the white-haired man opposite him laughed mockingly and said, "A level 1 Chi 2 getting so worked up, did I scare you? Ha ha ha, my apologies, I shouldn't have suddenly appeared behind you. I should have just stabbed you through the heart and lungs so you died before you could even react, ha ha ha. This guy's name is Harvey, a level 30 human, Yuen Su Yu Xia." Back to Bai Kai, he continued to shout, "Who are you? Why did you suddenly appear behind me?" And as he said this, he recognized the man's somewhat familiar face and muttered, "Wait, aren't you the corpse I looted items from at the bottom of the cave? Could it be you're also a Zhonggran Zhe?" Bai Kai said with a tone of utter shock. This made Harvey laugh with amusement. "Hey, your reaction is too slow, but I don't blame you. Compared to someone like me who revived as a level 28, Yuen Su Yu Xia, you came back as a level 1 Chi 2. That's some terrible luck, ha ha ha. As your supporting cast, I don't even have the desire to kill you." As Harvey spoke, he dodged to the side and instantly appeared behind Bai Kai with terrifying speed. And before our protagonist could react, the white-haired man quickly slashed across Bai Kai's waist, sending blood flying. His health bar was instantly cut in half. "You cough, why? We have no grudge against each other. Why would you harm me? Since we're both Zhonggran Ji, shouldn't we help each other out of this predicament? Cough, Bai Kai said while coughing violently, his face turning pale from blood loss. Turning back to Harvey, Bai Kai's words almost made him die of laughter. He then leaned in close to Bai Kai's face, looking at him as if he were an idiot, and said in a low voice, "Zhonggran Zhe helping each other. What kind of joke is that? Didn't your system tell you that Zhonggran Zhe are enemies to everyone, but their greatest enemies are other Zhonggran Zhe? I saw how familiar you were with the paths here and thought you were special, but it turns out you don't even know the basics. You've wasted your chance at rebirth." Hearing this, Bai Kai couldn't contain his anger and shouted, "Get lost! You think I'd believe a word you say?" As he spoke, he threw an elbow at the man. But unfortunately, before the elbow could connect, the man swatted it away, breaking his arm. Then he looked at Bai Kai's furious expression and taunted, "It's normal for a level 1 Chi 2 not to understand. Forget it. I don't need to waste any more time on you. But in consideration for you leading the way, I won't kill you directly. Whether you live or die is up to you. If you're lucky enough to survive, I don't mind you coming to find me for revenge. Ha ha ha." After saying this, Harvey leaped down below. After watching him leave, Bai Kai quickly contacted the system. "Why is it like this? Regarding the Zhonggran Ji and this world, what other important information are you hiding from me?" Hearing this, the system quickly explained, "I'm not intentionally hiding it, but the hidden information of this world must be unlocked by you personally. Due to recent special encounters, hidden information about reincarnators is now unlocked. 1 reincarnators are considered evil heretics in this world and are targeted by all species for reasons unknown. A brutal system of competition exists among them, its purpose yet to be revealed. Player Bakai, by killing reincarnators, you'll gain great benefits. Soul points act as experience, and you'll also get blood soul points to unlock new accounts. Reincarnator is a general term for those reborn in this world, not limited to humans for reasons still unexplained. Reincarnators are randomly reborn as creatures of different races, genders, classes, identities, and levels. Furthermore, low-level reincarnators are instantly recognized by high-level ones. The reason for this is yet to be unlocked. Each reincarnator's initial class includes some special information about this world, with the exception of the Key 2. However, a Key 2 can obtain special information from other classes through a later class change. Information regarding the differences in each reincarnator system has not yet been unlocked. Back to Bakai, after hearing the system's explanation, he knew he couldn't expect anything from this useless system. It didn't provide any helpful information for his current situation. I'm already about to die. What good is this information now? The world of Han Chi Vuong Toa is certainly not that simple. Bok Kai thought to himself as he let his body free fall. But as he let his body fall like this, he had already calculated his move. His falling position was right next to a metal platform, so as he got close, Bok Kai simply grabbed onto it, used the momentum, and leaped to another metal platform. But making such a strenuous move while injured made him cry out in pain. It hurts so much, but I can't give up. I absolutely cannot give up. It wasn't easy to get a second chance at life. I can't just waste it. Almost there, I'm almost at the bottom of the pit. Even if it hurts more, I have to endure. I'll make one last gamble. Bok Kai told himself, and then immediately let his body fall once more. And thanks to his experience of dying and reviving countless times in the game, he calculated how to let his body fall and collide with the metal platforms, thereby reducing his falling speed. Just like that, Bok Kai fell ricocheting off the platforms on his way down, until he finally landed on the ground. And upon realizing he was still alive lying on the ground, Bok Kai couldn't help but laugh out loud. Ha ha ha, the gamble paid off. The exit is just 10 meters ahead. I'll crawl there if I have to, Bok Kai said with a smile. But his joy didn't even last 3 seconds before ferocious growls echoed beside him, causing the young man to break out in a cold sweat as he hurriedly looked up. This isn't right, this sound and this smell. There shouldn't be any monsters here. Why? Bok Kai exclaimed in shock, because before him was a slimy monster with countless eyes and fangs. This was the rare hidden monster, the fused beast Critus, level 25. Meanwhile, our protagonist Bok Kai was level 1 critically injured and on the verge of death. Faced with its ferocious, toothy appearance, Bok Kai could only tremble and crawl backward, thinking to himself, "Why is a Thu Hop not Nu Shi here? I remember there weren't supposed to be any monsters at the bottom of this cave. Why? Never mind, I have to take advantage of its slow movement in its first form and quickly crawl to the exit." With that thought, he struggled to crawl towards the exit, trying to avoid being sent to his rebirth by this monster. But just then, the slimy body of the fanged monster behind him suddenly exploded into many pieces, and each piece was an eye with ferocious teeth. This was the monster's second form, and once it entered this form, movement was no longer an issue. Immediately after the monster split, the one-eyed creatures began to surround Bok Kai from all sides, forcing him back towards the green river behind him. As for Bok Kai, he felt his luck had completely run out. Running into that reincarnator was one thing, but now, just as he was about to escape the cave, he encounters a monster that shouldn't be here. It split into its second form so fast, its movements are now incredibly quick. This can't be right. It shouldn't even be here in the first place. This is too strange. What on earth is happening? Bok Kai wondered, but at that moment, he remembered Harvey from before and made a guess. Could that guy be behind this? Did he intentionally lure this monster here to wait for me? Damn it. His appearance completely ruined the situation I had under control. As things stand now, my fate can be summed up in one word: death. But don't you underestimate a veteran of 100 battles. And just as Bok Kai had this thought, the Nu-Shi beasts in front of him, unable to restrain their hunger, lunged straight at him, with their mouths wide open. But Bok Kai reacted quickly. The moment he saw them charge, he rolled to the side and dove straight into the nearby river. But this was no ordinary river. The moment Bok Kai made contact with the liquid, he couldn't help but scream in agony. Then white smoke began to rise from his body as the river water corroded his skin. That's right, Due to thousands of years of transformation and pollution, this underground river had become the Toanhu Manhwa, capable of devouring almost any living creature. Even though the pain that pierced through his skin to his very marrow was worse than death, you should not underestimate my will to live. With that thought, Bakai gritted his teeth to endure the agony. Although his body still trembled uncontrollably, there was no other way. This was the only path to survival. The water of this Manhwa River is excruciatingly painful, but at least I have a piece of cloth that offers some meager protection. But for the Thu Hop Not Nu Shi, with their exposed and divided skin, it's a fatal weakness. While they're still hesitating, I have to crawl to the exit before they decide to fight to the death. I didn't get this second chance just to live a depressing and hopeless life like my last one. Bakai silently vowed to himself as he began to crawl towards the exit with all his might. The new she-beasts had now moved to the river's edge, waiting to tear into Bakai at any moment. It was now a race against time to see if he could reach the exit first, or if the beasts would give in to their hunger and attack. And as his body was being corroded by the Manhwa River, Bakai took the opportunity to recall his past, to find more motivation to keep crawling forward. I was born in a poor mountainous region. I thought that if I got into a key high school in the city, I could change my life through education like everyone else, so I resolutely left my mother and my hometown. But this life is not easy at all, unlike the peaceful countryside. When I got to the city, I realized it was a cruel place. To help my parents financially, I got a job washing dishes at a restaurant. Bakai, what are you doing? Why aren't you done with those few dishes? Hurry up or get the hell out of here. Enduring the boss's curses was one thing, but even back at the dorm, I had to listen to annoying comments from my roommates. Bakai, what are you doing this late? You don't study during the day and only cram now. Are you trying to keep people from sleeping? If you let out any more light, you better believe I'll beat you up. Despite working hard and facing immense academic pressure, I never wavered because I still had hope in my heart. Fortunately, I got into my dream university, but disaster struck again. My mother was diagnosed with a terminal illness and my world collapsed. All my years of sweat and effort went down the drain. Even though I dropped out of school, worked hard, and borrowed money from everyone, I still couldn't save my mom. Why are you so late? Do you want a 1-star review and a complaint? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry it was raining heavily and the roads were flooded, so I was a little late. I don't care if you can't be on time. Don't take the order, I'm starving to death. Working and streaming games on live broadcast platforms became my entire life. Although I wasn't making much progress, my popularity soared because of one game. As a result, just as I was about to reach the peak of my life, I died inexplicably. Although I had long been pessimistic about life and death, I absolutely cannot accept a death that feels like a joke. Now I find myself reborn into a game world that I am very familiar with. To be framed and die a humiliating death right at the start, I will never accept this kind of fatal joke. Until I become the king of this world, I absolutely cannot die. With this thought, an incredible surge of power seemed to erupt from within Bakai, and then he slowly stood up and poured all his strength into his legs, dashing forward as fast as he could. On both sides of the river, it seemed the Thu Nu Shi had also reached their limit. The moment Bakai charged forward, the entire pack of fanged beasts lunged at him, ready to tear him apart. But despite the wounds and the pain caused by the river water and these one-eyed monsters, Bakai kept running forward like a robot. In the end, his efforts paid off as he finally escaped the cave's vicinity, just as his life force hit rock bottom. At that exact moment, the system immediately sent a notification, as if it feared Bakai would pass out. Player Bakai, you have successfully escaped the lair and received 1 account unlock point. Please choose. 1. Unlock 25% of the items in your current game account's inventory chosen randomly with no level restrictions. 2. Randomly unlock a new game account and its corresponding items and skill bonuses with 25% usage rights. You have selected option 1. 25% of the items in your current account's inventory have been unlocked. Please check. Back with Bakai, by the time he heard the system notification, he was already surrounded by the one-eyed creatures. To save his own skin, he decided to use the most useful item he had for the situation. It's unclear what Bakai used, but immediately after his entire body erupted in a brilliant green light. Then the system announced, You have used Tan Huyet Tin Hoa Lo. Tan Huyet Tin Hoa Lo, a holy grade consumable item. What kind of existence is worthy of drinking this unique holy blood? Item effect instantly restores 100% of your health, permanently increases peak level by 30. You have equipped the Huyet Uan. The Huyet Uan hidden assassin equipment, a bloodthirsty killing intent from the deepest shadows. This equipment for the hidden assassin class greatly boosts agility and intelligence. Special effect, Uan.Kitch. You have equipped the Tin Hong Sat Nan daggers. Tin Hong Sat Nan dual daggers. The crimson blades seem to have been forged from fresh blood, an ultimate weapon for the hidden assassin. High-speed, powerful damage. Weapon skill, Tin Hong Diem Hoa. And right after these notifications ended, countless streams of sword energy shot out from where Bak Kai stood, dicing those rubbery creatures into countless pieces. Then Bak Kai's cold voice rang out. That really wasn't easy, but I finally held on until the end. Now this is the attitude a reincarnated king should have. At this moment, it seemed the Thu Nu Shi were still unaware that their opponent had just equipped his first purchase bonus set. So they just kept grinning and charging forward, intending to devour him. Let's see you laugh now, Bak Kai said as he dashed forward, his hands moving like a guillotine. With every swing, he created a blade in the air. Further information will be revealed in the textbooks, and the rubbery creatures were instantly sliced to bits. Turning back to Bak Kai, he was pleased with the results he had created. Choosing to inherit my original account's items instead of risking a new account was the right call. Even with just a fraction of them, it's more than enough for the early to mid stages, because everything I kept in my inventory were top-tier items and equipment. At this point, the story could be considered to have truly begun. Bak Kai said with a very confident voice. The Thu Nu Shi behind him were already trembling in fear from his attacks. To counter Bak Kai's power-up, the rubbery creatures decided to fuse together, and finally formed a massive monster with countless fangs and eyes. This was its third form. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The Thu Nu Shi roared angrily and aimed its tooth-filled mouth right at him. Meanwhile, Bak Kai, on the other side, remained perfectly calm. He even complained that the monster's hiss was too loud. "Why are you screaming so loud? I know you're in a hurry, but you'll have to wait a moment." Bak Kai said this because he was still waiting for a sound from the system. And sure enough, the system gave him a mission right after. Hidden quest updated eliminate the fused Thu Nu Shi. Success will grant triple soul point rewards. Back to Bak Kai, after receiving the hidden quest, our protagonist had no intention of letting this Thu Nu Shi live a second longer. This is what I was waiting for, this quest reward. Are you ready to be turned into mincemeat? The real fight starts now. As Bak Kai spoke, he began to use his combat skill, Tin Hong Hoa Diem, and then he charged straight towards the monster, his eyes gleaming as if he were looking at treasure. And just like that, the battle between Bak Kai and this many-fanged monster had officially begun. The moment he got close to its body, the monster shot out one of its tentacles as fast as a spear. The Thu Nu Shi even let out a few happy hisses, as if it could already picture Bak Kai being impaled. But unfortunately for the monster, it was overthinking things. As it launched its tentacle, Bak Kai easily sidestepped and taunted it. "I've already figured out your attack pattern. As long as I'm fast enough, I can neutralize it. I'll return the suffering you gave me twofold," he said as he plunged the dagger in his hand into the monster and then began to run circles around it. And as if he felt the monster wasn't suffering enough, Bak Kai used the skill Tich Kot Kich Thong, causing countless sharp spikes to pierce through the monster from the inside, literally turning it into a porcupine. Then, without giving the monster any time to react, our protagonist continued with the skill Tin Hong Chuak Tu, creating a flame that burned the monster, making it roar in agony. Tin Hong Chuak Tu, a debuff caused by crimson flames. The gash erupts in crimson flames, dealing damage over time for 15 seconds. Tich Kot Kich Thong, a debuff from a hidden assassin combat skill. The cut is so deep, it brings bone-chilling pain. And with these two stacked debuffs, the Thu Nu Shi began to scream its head off. The louder it screamed, the more satisfied Bak Kai felt. "Very good, then I'll put you out of your misery." Saying this, Bak Kai used the skill Am-An Sat Tran, creating countless clones that surrounded the monster from all sides. On Satran, the ultimate hidden assassin combat skill, turns the user into multiple shadow clones to focus attacks on a target. Shadow clones are immune to all physical and magical attacks and last for 5 seconds. The Thu Nu Shi, upon seeing Bok Kai suddenly multiply, had its many eyes bulge out, not knowing which one to focus on. And while the monster was confused and didn't know what to do, all of Bok Kai's clones, along with his real body, attacked in unison. Countless blades began to slash down from above, instantly carving up the monster. The Thu Nu Shi only had time to let out a few agonizing screams before it went silent. Then the system's celebratory sound rang out for Bok Kai. You have successfully slain the rare elite fused Thu Nu Shi, receiving triple soul point rewards for a total of 18,000 soul points. Achievement reward received. Sometimes a faint light overcomes a raging fire. Back to Bok Kai, the experience provided by that Thu Nu Shi allowed him to level up to level 8 instantly. This surprised him a little. Leveling up 8 times in one go. Is this the system's reward for fighting above my level? You have to understand, leveling up in Han Chi Vuong Toa is extremely difficult. I once broke down the rules and values for gaining soul points and leveling up during a game livestream. It wasn't really practical, but the audience loved it. Is the host a top student? So impressive. It's useless info, but I admire the host's dedication to research. Is the host studying for a master's degree? I'm sure I clicked on a game stream. Why did it turn into a math class? Returning to the story, the system now announced the rewards Bok Kai received for defeating the monster. Received 108 gold coins. Received Bin Ket Tin Kwa O Trak. Received Kao Kan Ko Nan. Bin Ket Tin Kwa O Trak restores 30% of your health upon use. Kao Kan Ko Nan, a prayer-type attack that summons blades from a devout kneeling position, a 3-dimensional piercing attack with a 3-meter radius around the body, can be used 3 times. Turning to Bok Kai, he was quite pleased after receiving this precious item. This prayer was quite good. I had to grind 30 times for it before and got nothing, but this time, I got it on the first try. Then Bok Kai opened his character information panel and put all his free attribute points into agility. Since his current class is an assassin, even with top-tier equipment and levels, the most important attribute is still agility. So just maxing out agility in the early stages is the way to go. Finally, let's see what else is in this 25% unlocked inventory, he said as he opened his inventory, observing the items in front of him and muttering, most of these are consumables and materials. At this thought, Bok Kai's face darkened. It was clear that with so many ultimate weapons and professional gear sets, he still hadn't unlocked enough. But besides the hidden assassin set he was wearing, he had also unlocked 2 other ultimate sets. Thinking of this made Bok Kai feel a bit better. His 2 ultimate equipment sets were first the Huyet Jiap Long Trong and the Kiem Long Tik, second the Tin Kong Dun Gon Jia and the Tam Kong Tin Tu. Huyet Jiap Long Trong Dragon Armor, forged in dragon's blood, equipable by warriors with over 80 strength. A top heavy armor combining power and durability, unusable by most. Long Tik Kiem, excruciating pain. The blade is a dragon's spine, a pain you must feel yourself. Only a great sword forged from a dragon's spine can pierce its hide. Tin Kong Dun Gon Jia, look up to the stars, bow down to prophesize. A mage set from the astral magic branch requires over 100 intelligence to equip. Tam Kong Tin Tu, in the dark universe, it can guide the stars back home. A top-tier staff made from cosmic gold meteorite, extremely effective with astral magic effects. Back to Bok Kai, he was quietly planning his next move. Even if he couldn't use these 2 ultimate sets now, the other unlocked items could ensure his early-stage survival. So should I go back to save Princess Mina, or just leave on my own? Based on my understanding of the game, being a lone wolf is fine, but now there's the unknown element of a Trong Nian Jia. There were 2 problems before him now. First, what major changes would the appearance of the Trong Nian Jia bring to the original game? Second, were there any other changes? Before understanding the situation, instead of bearing high risks alone, why not join Princess Mina to share the risk and gather information? According to the original script, as long as I choose to save Princess Mina, they could later become a crucial source of support. Even if they don't follow the plot and decide to kill me, I have the ability to protect myself now. Let's do it this way. Having thought it through, Bok Kai made his decision. He quickly accelerated towards the place where Princess Mina's group was being held, and while moving, he also killed quite a few monsters. Like right now, he was single-handedly fighting 2 adult Dich Thutok, but these overgrown chickens were all bark and no bite. Their actual strength was nothing special. With a single Ko Nan Shuyen Tik, he instantly turned these 2 Dich Thutok into honeycombs. The main path out of the cave is almost clear of monsters. The only fight left is the final boss, Bok Kai said happily. Thanks to these 2 brutes, he had successfully reached level 10. Upon reaching this level, the system unlocked a new function. Player Bok Kai, congratulations on reaching level 10. The new reputation system is now open. Please check it regularly to manage your fame and choose who to ally with or antagonize. Hearing the system announcement, Bok Kai was surprised, thinking the reputation system. This is a new setting, not from the original game, so it seems the lone wolf playstyle won't work here. He then opened the reputation system to see how it described him. As a nobody, his only reputation link was with Princess Mina. Princess Mina, the Restoration Princess faction reputation enemy passerby. Your act of not saving them has made Princess Mina's faction hostile towards you. Bok Kai's face wrinkled slightly as he read this, and he mumbled, they must be cursing me behind my back, and probably quite harshly. And it was just as he thought. At that moment, they were indeed cursing his entire family. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. I don't get how stupid that level 1 trash had to be to abandon us and seek his own death. He's probably a cold corpse by now. Sigh, I've heard all Tai Sin are selfish and treacherous, which is why they're wanted by all nations. Hearing this, Dagu the cat person grew envious, to die, misunderstood by everyone. What an enviable fate for that guy. Seeing them passionately discussing such nonsense, Princess Mina had to speak up. Stop with this useless talk. The fundamental reason we were trapped like this is because we are weaker than them. I, as the captain, am the weakest of all. I must take full responsibility. It's my fault you have to die with me. I'm sorry. Hearing her say that, Rei smiled beside her princess. What are you saying? We have long sworn to be loyal to you until death. You don't need to apologize to us. House also affirmed the previous complaints weren't because we fear death, but because we couldn't accept that your great wish to restore the kingdom was ruined by a brainless pawn before it even began. And just as House said that, his voice suddenly stopped because 2 throwing knives shot from a distance, cutting the ropes that were binding them. It caused them to fall straight down below. Protect the princess, House and Rei shouted hastily as they saw everyone in freefall. And as a result, this House fellow used his own body to cushion Princess Mina's fall. As for Dagu, the cat person, he landed as if nothing happened, perhaps due to his feline instincts, and Rei landed on his face. The group's sudden rescue made number 5 quite regretful. Sai failed to die again, he said in frustration. On the side, after House got up, he quickly turned to Mina and asked, Princess, are you all right? I'm fine, Mina calmly replied. Turning to Rei, he also voiced his confusion. Who was it? Were they trying to save us or harm us? And to answer his question, a calm voice rang out. No need to be tense, this is just a little payback for your curses. It was a very familiar voice that shocked the group. That voice. Very surprising, isn't it? I told you I would come back to save you, but the real surprise is about to arrive. In 1 minute, the boss will be here. Get ready to fight. There's no more time to waste. Bok Kai said as he took off his hood, revealing his face, and the face of the person they thought was dead, suddenly appearing, shocked the group a second time. It's you. Bok Kai then proceeded to cut the ropes for Mina. As for her guards, after hearing what Bok Kai just said, they couldn't help but shout, What did you say? You just saved us. And now the boss of the Dich Thutok is about to appear. I can't help but doubt your true purpose for coming back to save us. While the group was in an uproar, Princess Mina remained calm and said, Whatever your purpose, I must thank you. Otherwise, we'd just be hanging here until we were skeletons. Bok Kai didn't react to her thanks and got straight to the point. This isn't the time for gratitude. That big guy will be here in 40 seconds. The best way to thank me is to grab your weapons and escape with me, Bok Kai said calmly. But his words made the guards react fiercely. House shouted, Hey, watch your mouth, pawn. I could behead you for your disrespect towards the princess alone. In contrast, Rei focused on Bok Kai's level and exclaimed, Unbelievable. You went from level 1 to 10 in less than half a day. They say every Trong Niengia has a secret. Seems you're no exception. Even the cynical Dagu cheerfully proposed, "Kid, you're interesting. Come on, let's fight. You kill me or I'll kill you." Turning back to Bok Kai, seeing how fired up the group was, he thought to himself, "It seems my intentional words had an effect. Let's keep going." Thinking this, Bok Kai turned away and said, "Kill me or cut me down. I don't care. But without my combat power, how will you handle the next boss fight? You lot alone can't possibly win." How, seeing Bok Kai's arrogance, roared from behind. "A mere level 10 dares to speak so brazenly. I'll send you on your way right now." Just as he said that, Princess Mina at his side shouted angrily, "That's enough, House! A great enemy is upon us. This is no time to be emotional. Everyone get into combat formation immediately. Although there are still many questions, we have a hard-won chance at survival, and I will not allow any more mistakes." Mina said this while tightly gripping her staff. Seeing this, Rei and the others quickly formed a battle formation and said, "Yes, Your Highness." Bok Kai witnessed their actions from start to finish and was quite satisfied. The test is passed. It seems Princess Mina's personality hasn't changed, still as fair and strong as before. But her guards' hostility towards me is only aimed at the fact that I didn't save them earlier, not because of my status as a Trong Nien Gia. At least we can cooperate in the next boss fight. With that in mind, Bok Kai spoke up to warn them, "The boss will arrive in 10 seconds. After speaking, he casually threw out some kind of device. This is a thunderstorm trap. The numbing sensation of an electric shock covers the whole body until death. This item has lightning magic runes carved onto a fragile bait box, which explodes with lightning and causes paralysis when stepped on. The first step of the battle begins." Bok Kai thought to himself, then said, "Give me 3 minutes, you all have to hold on." After saying this, Bok Kai used a stealth skill and slowly disappeared before their eyes, not caring whether they agreed or not. This left Rei wondering, "Damn, that kid went invisible. What 3 minutes? What is he planning to do?" But before he could think much, his train of thought was cut short as a large dark shadow suddenly rushed towards the group from the front. It landed like a cannonball, causing the ground to shake violently, and without needing any reminder, they all knew what this dark shadow was. "The boss has really arrived, just as that kid predicted," Rei exclaimed in shock. When the dust settled, the figure of the great boss appeared before them. This was the leader of the Plague Beast Clan Blood, Axe Modic level 30. Seeing the group free, it spoke in its deep, terrifying voice, "As food, you should have stayed obediently in the pantry. Why think of running away? Next, I will be the one to cook you." But just as it said this, the horned beast stepped right on the trap Bok Kai had set earlier. As a result, its whole body was electrocuted and convulsed, its life force dropping by about 10%. On the other side, Rei was astonished to see the boss step on the trap so easily and said, "It stepped on the lightning trap that kid left behind." How did he know the exact time and place the boss would appear? But before he could finish, Princess Mina cut him off. "Don't worry about that for now. We've seized the initial advantage. Everyone focus on the boss. We must kill it." Hearing this, everyone shouted in unison, "Yes." And while they were talking, Modic had already broken free from the control, enraged. The fact that it took damage before it could even show off made it furious, and it roared. "A bunch of ingredients dare to rebel. How do you plan to kill me by making me choke to death? Ha ha ha." As it spoke, it swung its axe fiercely towards House. Despite blocking with his shield, House felt as if his arms were about to break. "This crushing power, even if I block it perfectly, I'll still get hurt." And just as he thought, his health dropped by 30% from a single blow. And he's a tank-class player. If the other 3 took that hit, they'd likely be wiped out. But it must be said, this 4-person team had pretty good coordination. While House was blocking the blow, Dagu at the side quickly drew his bow and shot 3 arrows straight at the massive monster. Unfortunately, it noticed immediately, "Child's play." Modic shouted and casually swatted away the arrows flying towards it. But just then its arm was suddenly entangled by vines sprouting from the ground. And these kiting and control tactics were driving the horned beast insane. "If you want to fight, then show me your true strength. Are you trying to humiliate me with these weak tickling attacks?" He roared in anger. Then the beast swung the axe in its hand, slashing away all the vines in front of it. "You think you can restrain me with these petty tricks? How absurd," the mutated beast said with contempt. Next, it aimed its giant axe straight at House and brought it down hard. This powerful blow caused the ground to crack in many places. As for House, after losing a third of his health from one block, he no longer dared to face the attack head-on. He could only run like a mouse hiding. Yes, running away like frightened mice is your only correct choice. I will torture you to death and use your pain and screams as the finest seasoning to chew on your battered bodies. As the giant beast spoke, it began to spin, its body creating a whirlwind attack. The debris from its earlier axe swing was now flung towards the group like bullets by the whirlwind. Princess Mina quickly cast layers of shields to protect them from the stones, but the meat grinder whirlwind left them no way to attack. Damn it, this attack has no blind spots, we can't avoid it. That kid praised himself, then ran off. What was he thinking? Ray shouted. House, who was shielding them, had no time for Bok Kai and said, "Forget him, focus on the problem at hand. The princess's mana won't last forever. Don't worry about me. I can still hold on. We can't just keep taking hits, we have to find a way to counterattack." The princess said urgently, but from the look on her face, it seemed she really couldn't maintain the magic shield for much longer. From their conversation, Madik on the other side realized that Mina was the brain of the group, so it stopped its whirlwind attack and leaped straight towards her, saying, "So you're the most exquisite and delicious part of this pile of ingredients. Then I'll start with you," Madik said, greedily swinging the axe in its hand towards the slender body before it. "Princess, watch out!" House shouted as he rushed forward to block for Mina. And immediately after the blow, the shield in his hand shattered instantly. Seeing this, Madik on the other side laughed smugly. "Heh heh, so fragile you can't even take one hit. Let's see what you'll use to block me now. Ha ha ha." But it hadn't been laughing for more than 3 seconds when a pain that pierced its brain shot up from its back, making even a boss monster like this cry out. "Ah, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts." Madik cried out in pain and quickly turned its head to see what was happening. After seeing a handsome figure with 2 swords plunged into its back, it said in surprise, "You brat, who are you? What did you do to me?" Behind it, hearing its pained screams, Bok Kai said coldly, "Just adding a little seasoning to my daggers. Isn't this what you like?" The reason Bok Kai could cause the giant beast such pain was that he had soaked his 2 daggers in Nuok Minha. Corrosive Nuok Minha, blooming like a flower from the abyss, a poison created from it. The longer it coats a weapon, the longer the poison lasts. Back to Modric, it was now mad with pain. "Daring to provoke me, you're not even worthy of being an ingredient to chop." It swung its axe, creating a streak of light, but Bok Kai simply held on to its body and launched himself upwards, dodging the slash. It all happened in a flash, leaving Ray gaping in astonishment. Damn, what's with that kid's speed? Is that the kind of agility a level 10 should have? Speaking of that brute Modric, as time went on, the pain from his wound only grew more intense instead of subsiding. This forced him to look at the injury on his back again, and only then did he realize why it hurt so much. It hurt so much as this poison, the water of Minha. Did you know that stuff is fatal to our Dithu clan? Die, you deserve to die. You humans have made me this pathetic. Die, you all must die. As he spoke, he went into a frenzy, smashing his axe into the ground and creating a web of cracks. What was special was that some of these cracks were red. On the other side, Ray, seeing Modric go berserk, commented cheerfully, "Is the boss going into a mindless rage? Has the poison driven him mad? This is our chance. Let's kill him while he's insane." But before Gary could charge forward, someone stopped him. "Don't go. The boss hasn't lost his mind. The battle is just entering its second phase." As soon as these words were spoken, the red cracks spread to the mountain of corpses behind the group. Then moments later, the mountain suddenly exploded, sending all the corpses flying everywhere. And it seemed this was one of Modric's skills, as a faint light suddenly began to appear within the eye sockets of the already dead bodies. Then they slowly began to stand up and roar at them. This was the Bien. Ray, seeing this from behind, felt like his eyes were about to pop out. The boss can even control corpses. Does he even want to let people live? Turning to Bok Kai after seeing Modric use this skill and officially enter Phase 2, he immediately turned to the others and said, "You guys control the Thibien, leave the boss to me." His words left Gary utterly astonished. "What? Fight the boss alone. Don't you value your life, kid? But before he could say another word, Princess Mina gave an order. Just do as he says, get into formation, and don't let a single TBN get past. Yes. Everyone shouted in unison and formed their ranks once more to face the wave of corpses ahead. As for Bak Kai, he now stood alone, confidently facing the horned Modric. And his guts had to be acknowledged by this monster. Just daring to face me alone, you're a low-level kid with a lot of nerve. Come on, I'm used to this pain now. If you have any other tricks, bring them out. The fact that it could adapt to the pain so quickly was not outside Bak Kai's calculations. The boss's adaptation speed is within my predictions. The poison will be effective for about 1 more minute. According to the original setup, as long as I don't die, Princess Mina will be fine. So I have 1 minute to finish this fight, he thought to himself. His contemplative look made Modric laugh so hard he forgot his pain. You're thinking, haha, instead of wasting time thinking about how to beat me, why not think about how to avoid getting crushed into paste by me? Hearing him say this, Bak Kai coldly replied, being turned into paste is not a bad way to die, but that fate is reserved for you. As he spoke, he began to use the Tin Hong Hua Diem battle technique, and then our main character charged forward, preparing for a life or death battle with this horned beast. Speaking of the past, when he was still a rookie, Bak Kai had been beaten senseless by Modric countless times. You are just a lamb on my chopping block, waiting for me to skin you and pick your bones. Your weakness is like minced meat in a chef's hands. I can shape it however my mood desires. Back to the present. The Dong Huyet Fu boss Modric was famous for his thick hide and tough flesh. The first time I met him, I died at least 30 times before I passed. At this moment, Modric on the opposite side roared, "The food wants to rebel, how ridiculous." As Modric spoke, he charged towards Bak Kai like a tank. As soon as he got close, he swung the hammer in his hand at maximum speed. The ground shattered into pieces from the impact of the attack. Fortunately, our main character had fought this monster many times before, so he could easily predict its attack and dodge in time. But from this attack, Bak Kai had already estimated its damage and began to calculate. It strikes fast, has high attack power, and its weapon comes with lifesteal. With my current health and level, I can withstand 2 direct hits at most, but my agility is high enough as long as I don't get hit. I just need to hold out for the last 2 minutes, using the poison on the boss to reduce its health, then I can safely transition to the final third phase. Back to Modric, watching Bak Kai dance between his attacks made his blood boil. Tisk, didn't you want to grind me into paste? Why are you only running? So your confidence comes from your speed. Face me head on, you insect! Modric roared angrily, then slammed his hammer on the ground, creating countless small shards of rock that shot towards Bak Kai like arrows. But these attacks were still not enough to trouble Bak Kai. The moment they flew towards him, he twisted his body in mid-air, dodging them with incredible grace. And this incredible action left Mina, who was watching from behind, completely astonished. That guy is perfectly dodging the boss's attacks. He can't be doing that with just agility. His knowledge of dodge timing and attack range is nothing like that of a rookie who just went from level 1 to 10. It's more like a seasoned veteran of many battles, she thought to herself. Turning to the horned Modric, he had now realized Bak Kai's intentions and said with a laugh, "Oh, I see your little trick. You think you can just keep dodging my attacks and rely on the poison effect on me to weaken me? It seems to be working, but only to a certain extent. So let's see which happens first, me being poisoned to death by you or me chopping you to death. Huyet Vu." With that, Modric raised his axe high into the air, and a portal opened above his head. From within this portal, streams of blood mist began to flow out. This was Modric's third phase. Then the large creature swung the axe in his hand straight at Bak Kai, creating a wave of light that flew towards him. And against the terrifying speed of this attack, Bak Kai couldn't dodge in time. His right leg was hit by the Huyet Vu created by Modric. Seeing Bak Kai get hit, the horned brute laughed with delight. "In my Huyet Vu state, there is no escape, ha ha ha. Now what do you say? No matter how slippery you are, you can't escape the range of my Huyet Vu." Back to Bak Kai. After being hit by the Huyet Vu, he was afflicted with burning and corrosion effects. And regarding Modric's recent words, he had to admit they were accurate. That's right. In Phase 3, its attack range increases dramatically. It's very difficult to dodge without getting hurt. Even getting hit by the splattering blood can cause damage. But this is the phase I've been waiting for, Bok Kai thought to himself. At the same time, Ray in the back noticed Bok Kai's predicament and said, "The smell of blood is so strong. No matter how good that kid is at dodging, he's going to die this time." Gary said, "Ray, you handle these mutated monsters. I have to prepare to fight the boss." Hearing that, Ray's eyes widened and he said, "What? Are you kidding? These zombies are endless. I can't hold them off by myself." And while they were still assigning tasks, the giant Modric was already preparing to deliver the finishing blow. "This one will take your life." With that, he swung the axe with all his might. It passed through Bok Kai's body, but at that moment, Modric felt his axe blade hit nothing at all. To be precise, it passed through Bok Kai's body as if it were air. "He disappeared," Modric said in astonishment. As for our protagonist himself, he had somehow slipped above the giant's head. The fact that Bok Kai could suddenly appear behind him left Modric utterly stunned. Instantly. How is that possible? At your level, how can you have this ability? And to his question, Bok Kai didn't bother to answer, instead gifting him with a yuan dot kitsch. In the past, when I played the game, seeing the boss unleash such a powerful attack, the instinct was to create distance to dodge the attack. The result was a miserable death, but the key to victory in this phase is actually close-range combat, Bok Kai thought, as he unleashed a rain of blows directly onto the monster's back. What he was doing was a complete gamble, because in Phase 3 the boss's attack speed slows down and its defense also decreases. Use yuan.kitsch to get within a certain radius of the boss taking the splash damage in exchange for a chance to attack. "Let's see who can hold out first," he thought as he slashed at Modric's back until it was a bloody mess. And the waves of pain hitting him made him unable to stop himself from screaming, "Ah! It hurts so much, you bastard. Why do you always like to stab me in the back?" His blood-curdling scream left Gray's group of 3 completely stunned. Good grief, what's going on? Why is the boss screaming in agony? Did that kid just turn the tables? Does he have a death wish? A heavy blow from that distance should have been an instant kill. Could he have really seen through the boss's weakness? I hope he can see through mine too. Dagu exclaimed in shock. Back in the battle with his health hitting rock bottom, Modric swung his axe like a madman. Die, die, die. He roared furiously, but unfortunately none of his attacks could touch Bai Kai as he rolled on the ground to dodge them. Then, right after rolling away to create some distance, he charged forward once again. Then, using the ultimate skill, Kwang.man Kitsch, he unleashed countless stabs at Modric, pushing his already critical health bar to the brink of death. In this life-threatening situation, the bullhorn man was forced to swing his axe hard to push Bai Kai back, shouting loudly, "Roar, that's enough. I never thought a piece of cannon fodder like you could push me this far. I worked so hard to get this life-saving treasure, and I have to waste it on a worthless pest like you. But I can't care about that now." Modric said, activating his secret weapon, a miniature magic circle in his palm. This was the Hap Hoyt Fu Van, a deep space simulation tool that absorbs blood from a controlled target to replenish his own health. The targets for Modric's talisman were the corpses of his underlings. Streams of blood mist rose from the bodies and flowed towards the talisman in his hand. As the mist was absorbed, the hulking beast's health slowly recovered. While healing, Modric threatened Bai Kai, "Once my health is restored, I'll chop you into 1,000 pieces." Princess Mina's group noticed this and cried out in alarm. "This is bad, the boss is healing." Back to Bai Kai, he was stunned, unable to believe his eyes. Blood drain. The boss isn't supposed to have this skill. Damn it, a feature that wasn't in the original game just had to show up at a life or death moment like this, he thought, gritting his teeth. But luckily, Mina immediately used her ultimate skill from behind Cam Don Bitch Lui, which stopped his blood-draining talisman from working. Cam Don Bitch Lui is a magic wall that surrounds a target, cutting off its connection to the outside world, making it impossible to be healed or buffed. Modric, who was happily regenerating, was abruptly stopped. He gaped and said, "What? My skill item has been severed." Back with Mina, after interrupting Modric's healing, she rallied everyone. "Don't panic. It's just a replicated spatial item. Even my magic can easily intercept it. Everyone ignore the zombies. Focus all your attacks on the boss, and let's finish him off in one go." As for Modric, when he realized Mina was the one who stopped his healing, his eyes turned bloodshot. He shouldered his axe and charged straight ahead. "Damn it, it's this woman ruining my plans again. I should have killed you earlier," he said while aiming his axe directly at her. Meanwhile, Gray and his two companions cried out in panic from behind, "We're doomed, we can't reach the princess in time to help." And at the most critical moment, just as the axe blade fell, Bai Kai dashed out to block the blow for her. And of course his health dropped to critical after taking the hit. Seeing this, Mina said worriedly from behind him, "Bai Kai, I'm sorry." But before she could say more, Bai Kai cut her off. "Don't say anything. I was the one who lost focus. I put you in danger because I didn't finish him off quickly. You don't have to thank me." As he spoke, he used some kind of recovery item, and his health bar refilled by half. Meanwhile, the massive Modric up ahead had turned pale with rage. "You tenacious bastard, how long are you going to keep this up with me? I'll kill you." "Fine, bring it on. One final move to decide who lives and who dies," Bai Kai growled. At his words, the monster Modric actually felt a bit intimidated. This isn't good. This guy is giving off an aura that feels incredibly dangerous. I feel like the stench of blood on him is even stronger than mine. With that thought, he said a few words to save face. "I'll spare you today. Remember this." After speaking, the monster turned and fled for his life, forgetting all about his honor. Discretion is the better part of valor. The beast's sudden escape left everyone else stunned. What? The boss actually ran away, and with their leader fleeing, the zombies behind them lost their ability to move and collapsed to the ground. Thanks to this, the three of them finally escaped the persistent monsters. "We're sorry, Princess. We were too late to help, and you were almost harmed." "It's all right," Mina said calmly. "The important thing is that we all survived our encounter with the boss." But just then, Bai Kai's serious voice was heard. "The danger isn't over yet. We can't relax." As he spoke, he dashed forward, chasing after Modric. Seeing this, Mina worriedly called out, "Wait, Bai Kai. This isn't the time to press our advantage. We should use this opportunity to get out of here. I have my own judgment. This boss must die," he said coldly, then accelerated to his maximum speed. As soon as he closed in on Modric, he immediately activated his ultimate skill, Amon Sat Tran, creating countless clones of himself. Then all at once they tore him to shreds. As for Modric, after taking the full force of the attack, he let out one last agonized scream before dying, his life points officially hitting 0. The reason Bai Kai couldn't let the boss escape was his fear that other uncontrollable situations might arise. Back to our story, the moment Modric was defeated, everyone's body began to glow with a brilliant light. This was the sign that they had leveled up. A level up. Since Bai Kai had the lowest level in the party, he jumped 2 levels at once, becoming a level 12 player. We finally cleared the hardest part of Wayland Cave. I can breathe a sigh of relief now, Bai Kai thought happily. Just then, the system announced the rewards. Defeated Hoyet Vu Modric received 320 gold coins and 15,000 soul points. Player Bai Kai obtained the Hoyet Vu Quang Pu. Hoyet Vu Quang Fu, in a foul rain of blood, dance with mad abandon. A dual-wieldable battle axe, sharp and stained with blood and flesh. Wielding it makes one prone to rage and frenzy. Exclusive skill, Hoyet Vu. Player Bai Kai received the skill book, Thao Tung Tu Ti. Thao Tung Tu Ti. Aren't you going to thank me for granting you a second life? Although you all don't look very bright. This skill book teaches the ability to command corpses of level 30 or lower until they die a second time. Player Bai Kai received the Ko Quan Hut Mao. Ko Quan Hut Mao. With your intelligence, you only deserve to use this knockoff from a mysterious person, a replicated spatial tool. Using this device, one can forcibly absorb the life force of beings under level 10 to restore one's own health. And that was everything Bai Kai received. Returning to Mina, she smiled and walked over to Bai Kai. "I'm sorry," she said. "I shouldn't have questioned your judgment because every call you've made has been right. Also, thank you for taking that blow for me. I owe you one." Hearing this, Bai Kai quickly reminded her, "No, if I'm not mistaken, you owe me too. But let's talk about it after we get out of this place." At this point, he recalled Modric's strange anomalies and thought to himself, my assessment was only partially correct. But why did an irregularity that violates the original game's settings appear? Could all of this be related to the Trong Nien Jia? I have to get to the bottom of this quickly, or I'll constantly face unpredictable dangers. While he was still thinking, Ray spoke up in amazement. This kid's incredible. It's like he's become a completely different person in such a short time. Unbelievably strong. Hearing that, Dagu nodded and added, "This is the nature of a Trong Nien Jia. I'm grateful to you for saving me, but now I want to challenge you to a life or death duel." Ignoring Dagu's nonsensical words, House also bowed before Bai Kai and said, "I was completely prejudiced against you from the start, and I said many awful things about you. I'm deeply ashamed. I sincerely apologize and hope you can forgive me." And right after he said those words, the system then displayed a notification for him: Restoration Princess Mina, Faction Reputation Life-Saving Deed. Your bravery has earned you favor with Princess Mina's faction. So his reputation really did go up, but it didn't say what kind of rewards this reputation system would bring. Now that his favorability had increased, gathering more information was the most practical thing to do. Bak Kai thought to himself and then said, "I am no hero, just someone anyone could kill. But you all seem so unconcerned about my identity as a Trong Nien Gia." Hearing this, Mina, who was beside him, began to explain. "Your identity as a Trong Nien Jia is indeed special, but our circumstances are similar to yours. We are also outcasts, criticized by everyone. Besides, we seem to have a strong connection with the Trong Nien Jia, as we were also helped by another very powerful one." Upon hearing this, Bak Kai frowned slightly and asked about this other powerful Trong Nien Jia. He asked if she could tell him more about him, explaining that as someone newly reborn, he wanted to learn more about his own kind. In response to his question, Princess Mina didn't answer immediately. She just calmly turned around and said, "It's not convenient to stay here for long. Let's talk as we walk." Ray, who was beside them, cheered upon hearing this. "That's great. We can finally leave this blasted place. Stay focused. The boss may be down, but there are still other small monsters in this cave. We can't be careless," Mina said quickly. Then, as they walked, she began to talk about the other person. To introduce him, I must first talk about the Trong Nien Jia. The Trong Nien Jia are a large special group of people who have died and come back to life for some unknown reason. Their common trait is that they all possess a special ability. They were first discovered after the First Tree Tin War. Their ways of thinking and habits differ from ordinary people, and most of them are cruel and unrestrained, disregarding rules and doing as they please. To this world, they are like unintegrated outsiders. At first, the nations didn't pay them much mind until an ancient prophecy from hundreds of years ago resurfaced. The prophecy roughly meant that the world would fall into ruin, and only a reborn one could repair it and unite it under one king. Therefore, the nations considered them heretics and a threat. They would never accept their power, which came from division, being taken back by an outsider. The Trong Nien Jia, who once helped us, however, was completely different. He was powerful, yet gentle and refined, with no trace of that wild arrogance. That kind of temperament is very similar to yours. Meeting you all is my good fortune. Although my fate has been difficult enough, your fate will surely be even more unfortunate than mine, because this world's hatred for the Trong Nien Jia will exceed your imagination. So this is for you, Mina said as she took out a dagger, threw it to him, and explained. This dagger was given to me by that Trong Nien Jia. Back to Bak Kai, as he looked at the dagger, the system displayed its description. And Hoi Kua Quien Jia, no one can see the true face of the dark recluse. Although it's a dagger, its damage is quite high. Notably, it can conceal the wearer's true identity, which cannot be seen through without a high-level item. Reading this, Bak Kai couldn't believe his eyes. This dagger actually has such an attribute. He had never seen anything like it before. He wondered to himself. At that moment, Mina, who was ahead, continued. This dagger can hide your identity as a Trong Nien Jia, helping you avoid unnecessary threats, and it can also guide you to find that other Trong Nien Jia. It will be very useful to you. Mina spoke calmly, but her actions made her worried guards try to dissuade her. Princess, how can you give away such an important item? Without it, your identity will be exposed. That's very dangerous. Ray agreed and added, That's right. Even if that kid did us a favor, we can thank him with something else. Seeing their urgency, Princess Mina just smiled calmly and said, This is a decision I have considered carefully. There's no need for further discussion. Back to Bakai, he stared at the princess ahead and thought, so this is the benefit of increasing my reputation. This dagger is truly useful to me, as it can prevent high-level Trong Nien Jia from seeing through my identity. Princess Mina has always been this righteous and kind, but it's precisely because she's such a good person that she is destined to never become a ruler. Speaking of Princess Mina's history, she is the last descendant of the Tin Dieu kingdom, which once unified the land. Princess Mina should have lived a royal life respected by all. But disaster struck unexpectedly. The soul of the world that protected the world was shattered into 8 pieces by strangers from beyond the heavens, causing violent upheavals across the world. A deep space exploration ship, though carrying no living beings, brought unknown genetic species that led to the mutation of creatures, plunging the world into a crisis of extinction. To protect the world, the Tin Dieu kingdom dispatched its armies and united with 8 lords to fight a desperate battle against the mutated legions. This event came to be known as the First Tree Tin War. Although they eliminated most of the mutated army, the Tin Dieu kingdom exhausted its national strength, exacerbated by the 8 lords who intentionally slacked off during the war. As a result, the royal power of the Tin Dieu Tree Quoc collapsed. The 8 lords then declared their independence one by one, dividing the 8 fragments of the World Stone among themselves, although all of this happened 100 years ago. But as the last of the Tin Dieu Tree Quoc bloodline, Princess Mina is still considered a thorn in the side by the 8 treacherous nations. But given her character, the more she was suppressed, the more determined she became to embark on the arduous path of restoring her nation. Just as Bakai was thinking this, his train of thought was interrupted. Ray beside him said with a smile, "What are you spacing out for? The path is littered with the corpses of the Ditch Thu clan. Did you kill them all before you came to save us? You've got some skills, kid. It's a good thing you're not our enemy." "The exit is just ahead." "Damn it. We managed to survive again this time," Dagu said, pointing towards the cave entrance. This filled Princess Mina with excitement. She immediately rushed forward, saying, "Quickly, we're about to successfully escape this place." And at the very moment she stepped outside, the rays of sunlight were a bit blinding for someone like Mina, who had been in the cave for so long. After waiting a moment for their bodies to adjust, a beautiful scene unfolded before their eyes. A gentle breeze brushed against their faces, causing Mina to say in comfort, "How long has it been since we've bathed in such warm sunlight? The feeling of regaining freedom is truly wonderful." "That's right. We no longer have to endure the damp, dark air of the cave and that disgusting stench. We're free at this moment. It feels great to be alive," the 3 guards said happily. Then Princess Mina turned to thank Bakai. "Only when you're free do you truly understand its value. Please allow me to express my gratitude to you once again, Bakai. We can never fully repay you for saving our lives." Hearing this, Bakai waved his hand and said, "It's nothing. The dagger you gave me is more than enough repayment. So what are you all planning to do next?" "I know their next plan, but I'll ask, just to be sure if anything has changed," he thought to himself. In response to his question, she calmly said, "Next there is something we absolutely must do." "What is it?" Bakai wondered, while Ray in the back could only laugh awkwardly. "In short, it's something very important, haha." But just then, House, who was beside them, spoke up. "There's no need to hide it, Ray. Bakai is our savior and a true hero. We don't need to hide anything from him." Princess Mina, who was up ahead, heard this and said with a smile, "House is right. There's indeed nothing to hide. I just felt it was a bit embarrassing to say. We had spent a lot of money to hire a very capable team of mercenaries, but who would have thought they would betray us midway, leaving us in danger and with nothing? But they stole something incredibly important from me, and I must get it back. I know what that is. It's the Tin Tree Hack, a necklace made from the core of a shattered world stone. It's proof of the Tin Tri Quoc royal bloodline, and one of the most important special items in the original game." Turning back to Mina, her face was filled with sadness as she said, "It's all my fault for being not only weak, but also naive, for blindly believing their lies." Hearing this, House angrily punched the wall and said helplessly, "This has nothing to do with the princess. It's all because we were too weak to protect you and the sacred artifact properly." Even someone as enthusiastic as Gary could only bow his head and sigh at this point. "Our weakness is only part of the reason. The bigger reason is that those guys were too good at hiding their intentions. We didn't see their scheme at all." Hearing this, he also said dejectedly, "That's right. I couldn't even smell anything strange on them. I'm afraid it'll be very difficult to find them now." As for Mina, after hearing everyone's sad words, she said with determination, "We must find them, even if we have to chase them to the ends of the earth, no matter how much time it takes." But just as she said this, Bai Kai, who was beside her, interrupted. "You don't have to go that far, and it won't take that much time. If I said I know where those people are, would you believe me?" He spoke with a very confident voice, which made the whole group exclaim in shock. "What?" Then Gary and the others calmed down and gathered around to ask, "You know where those bastards are? How do you know? Don't joke about this." Another shocking statement. "Little Bai, do you know how important this is to us?" This feels a bit unreliable. Even Princess Mina on this side was a little pensive after hearing this, not quite believing it. Faced with their suspicion, Bai Kai wasn't angry. He calmly explained, "I'm not kidding. Have I ever lied to you from the very beginning?" Hearing this, House and the others on the opposite side stammered, "Well, that's true. Although the process was full of twists and turns, you've never lied to us. So does that mean this thing we thought would take a lot of effort and might not even succeed can be solved so easily?" Gary said in surprise. At this moment, Princess Mina, who was beside them, also spoke up. "We are truly sorry for still doubting you at a time like this, but the heavy stone in our hearts has been gently lifted. It always felt unreal. I was already prepared for the worst." And just as she said this, Bai Kai gently placed his hand on her shoulder and reassured her, "Don't mind it. Although I can't explain the reason, I can be sure of the location of the mercenary group that harmed you. Just follow me next." I believe you," Mina said as her face turned slightly red. This immediately caused House to react violently. "Words are fine, but don't get handsy and be disrespectful to the princess." All right, the princess hasn't said anything. Stop bossing people around," Ray said with a smile. Scene change to the burning forest. This is an area for players from level 10 to level 20. Underground fire burns in this forest all year round, but doesn't burn away all life, instead maintaining a relatively balanced ecosystem. If you don't like the cold and damp Arctic region, the warm charcoal forest can definitely be one of your alternative settlement choices. Of course, don't get bitten by that damned red fire spider. At this time, in a certain corner of the burning forest, a group of mercenaries had set up camp. They were the Justice Mercenary Alliance, about 30 people in number, level 20 to 30. Damn it, this charcoal forest is really no place for humans. It's hot as hell. Luckily, this grilled lizard is pretty good, and what's a little hardship compared to what we gained? Hey, that's right. It's all thanks to that foolish woman being so easy to trick, revealing her true identity so easily. But I don't understand why we have to stay in this charcoal forest. I can't wait to go to the city and spend money like water. These words came from a big, heavily tattooed man named Marcel, level 28, a human warrior. In response to his question, the swordsman beside him replied, "The boss said before that he has his reasons, but he didn't say why we can only wait. Anyway, the money in our hands won't fly away on its own. This guy is Kola, level 27, a human swordsman. And the one sitting opposite them was Yuri, level 29, a human mage and vice captain of the mercenaries, who at this moment stared at the fire and spoke, "Hey boss, how much longer do we have to stay in this godforsaken place? Although I specialize in fire magic, I hate the heat." After speaking, he turned around to look at his captain, waiting for his answer. From his gaze, the captain was a rather handsome man named Halem, level 30, the mercenary captain of the Justice Alliance. But after hearing his subordinate's question, Halem remained silent, causing the vice captain to prompt him, "Boss, boss." At this point, the big guy Marcel also said in frustration, "He's lost in thought again. Ever since he got that necklace, the boss often stares at it in a daze. What on earth is the origin of that necklace?" Turning back, their captain finally snapped out of it and said loudly, "What are you arguing about? I'm not deaf. I've been guarding here for so many days, just in case of an unforeseen event. What if that woman escaped from the cave? I'm actually starting to regret it now. I regret not killing them directly at the beginning," Halem said regretfully. But this attitude of his only annoyed the big guy Marcel more. "You're being too careful, boss. With their abilities, they absolutely couldn't have survived in that cave." The swordsman Kuala beside him agreed. "That's right. I'm sure those people have already become the droppings of the Yi Shou clan, haha. Who told that woman to refuse our big brother's good intentions with our help? Her path to restoring her country could have been smooth, being so short-sighted. What kind of country can she restore? Yuri said with contempt. At this point, the group also recalled the moment they betrayed Princess Mina's group. Her angry expression at that time was truly laughable. Righteous. Despicable. How could you be so evil? I trusted you so much. Why did you betray me? Mina said with a voice full of anger, looking straight at the group. At that time, the Captain Halem pinched her face with his hand and began to enlighten this girl on how cruel society is. Righteousness. Evil. These two things are not contradictory for us. It depends on the level of reward received. Our standard of judgment is very flexible. As for betrayal, no, I'm not betraying you, I'm helping you. Aren't you determined to restore your country? With our help, you'll save yourself many years of effort. Just give me your legendary necklace and become my woman. On the opposite side, upon hearing his words, Mina calmly replied, I've fallen into your hands, kill me or cut me up as you please, but don't even think about the necklace, I'll die before I give it to you. Faced with her determined voice, the captain didn't feel angry because he had already grasped her weakness. Is that so? What a strong woman. If you don't cherish your own life, then what about the lives of your subordinates? Although they are a bunch of useless trash, their loyalty is commendable, he said as he snapped his fingers. His subordinates had already raised the swords in their hands, just waiting for their boss's order to help the people in front of them reincarnate. Back to Halem. After letting Mina see this scene, he began to say words that struck at her kind heart. Can you turn a blind eye and watch them be beheaded? And as expected, his words made the princess tremble with anger and helplessness. The story that followed was that in order to protect the lives of her guards, the princess had to hand over the necklace, after which the four of them were tied up by these mercenaries and thrown into Wayland Cave. Back to the present. Seeing this, Yuri became even more complacent and said, Stupid people don't deserve to live in this world, let alone an incompetent princess whose ability doesn't match her ambition. Let's stand guard for one more night, and tomorrow morning we'll visit the nearest village on Kei. The boss is wise, the subordinates hurriedly said. At this moment, the big guy Marcel also let out a breath and said, Happily, are we finally leaving this godforsaken place? It's about time to replenish some fresh blood. I'm already tired of the women in our group. After eating my fill, I should also stretch my muscles a bit, he said as he grabbed a beautiful girl beside him. Then he threw her over his shoulder and walked straight to someplace. What he was about to do next was probably understood by everyone. The girl at this moment could only cry and struggle, but it was useless as the big guy Marcel's arm was like a steel clamp holding her tightly, making her struggles unable to create even a ripple. Ah, let me go, sob, sob, sob. Seeing this big guy getting horny again, Yuri, who was beside them, laughed with some contempt. He really never rests for a minute if he's not eating or sleeping, he's fighting or playing with women. Limitless energy. Boss, what's your plan for that necklace? It's definitely priceless. You're not just going to carry it around, are you? I think the best option is to sell it to the nearest nation. All three nations want that woman mostly for the necklace. If we handle this right, we'll be set for life. But if we mess up, it'll bring us nothing but trouble. The leader Hyde, who was opposite him, casually killed a small monster as he replied, You're right. Who would have thought a random escort mission would be this lucrative? We have to maximize the profit. I've considered selling to a nation, but the closest one is the Duchy of Elena. From their queen to the nobles, they're all a bunch of broke artists. Selling to the Hades domain is better, they're much wealthier. The deputy commander, Yuri, remembered something and quickly said, But I heard Hades and Wembley are in a small border skirmish. If we try to sell them the necklace now, will they even have time for us? Or additional information. Hades county classes are Count Knight and Commoner. Trait Lion Crest. The domain has many mountains and minerals, excellent blacksmiths, and a strong army. Duchy of Elena classes are Queen Noble and Commoner. Trait Rose Crest. This place has fertile fields and gardens along with outstanding painters and writers. Wembley County classes are Count Knight and Commoner. Trait Bear Head and Claw Crest. This domain has forests and hunting grounds, excellent hunters and carpenters. Back to the story, the leader smiled and explained, You underestimate the power of this necklace. The essence of war is profit, and that doesn't change even in chaotic times like these. According to legend, this gem, inherited by a descendant of the royal family, has the power to change the world. You could say that all the profits from a war combined aren't even worth a tenth of this jewel's value. Hearing this, Yuri couldn't help but exclaim in shock. It's that powerful. Then why don't we keep it and use its power to build a kingdom for ourselves? I'm not saying I haven't considered it, Hyde said dejectedly, but after studying it for days, it's just an ordinary gem in my hands. I can't feel any power from it. He had decided to give up after his research proved fruitless. Forget it. If you want to live a long life, it's best not to mess with power you can't control. We're not like that masochistic cult, those lunatics who trade their own flesh and blood for power. In our finite lives, making enough money to live comfortably is more important than anything else, Hyde said with a completely calm voice. This made his subordinate Yuri admire him endlessly. You truly are the boss, but you know so many secrets. Hearing this, Hyde stopped walking, turned his head, and said coldly, "That's not something you need to know. All right, tell the men to get some rest. We have a big fight in Anka village tomorrow." "Got it," Yuri said hurriedly. The scene changes to a corner of the campsite. Princess Mina's angry voice rang out as she looked at the two corpses in front of her. "I can't believe for the life of me that these bastards are also camped in this charred forest. But they're very cautious. If Bai Kai hadn't assassinated them first, a direct confrontation would have alerted the entire camp. With their advantages in level and numbers, how are we supposed to get the necklace back in such a disadvantageous situation?" she said, racking her brain for a solution. It wasn't just her. Even her guards were feeling intimidated. "I really want to charge into their camp and take it, but with our overwhelming disadvantage, being brave is just a suicide mission," House said calmly. Dagu, who was next to him, then made a suggestion. "Then I'll lure most of them away, and you guys can take the chance to attack the leader." Unfortunately, his suggestion was immediately shot down by Ray. "And how do you plan to lure them? With your big, innocent eyes? You'd have better luck sneaking in to steal it in the middle of the night." And while the group was at a stalemate, unsure of what to do, our protagonist finally spoke up. "We can't wait until tonight. We have 3 hours at most, because when they change the patrol shift, they'll discover the dead bodies. The whole camp will be on high alert after that. This mercenary leader is quite cautious." Hearing this, Princess Mina, who was behind him, recalled Hyde's acting ability and nodded. That man is indeed difficult to deal with. Not only is he a superb actor, but his mind is also incredibly discreet. It seems we have to give up for now and find another chance. But just as she finished speaking, Bai Kai calmly continued, "It's not that there isn't a chance. It seemed he already had a plan in mind." House and the others immediately realized this and asked, "What, you have another idea? Hurry up and tell us. This is unbelievable. What on earth is going on inside that head of yours?" Turning back to Bai Kai, he slowly began to explain his plan. "Our biggest weakness is our numbers, and I happen to have a way to compensate for that gap. Deep in the Cinderwood Forest, there is a lair of fire spiders. Although the fire spiders are only around level 10 to 20, their numbers are immense. My plan is for everyone to first go to the monster's lair, while ensuring your own safety lure out as many monsters as possible. Then lead them to the mercenary camp and shift the monster's aggro onto the mercenaries." Princess Mina's group understood Bai Kai's intention, but they still had some questions. Normal monsters, no matter how many, won't be able to cause them much damage. After all, their levels aren't low. Hearing this, Bai Kai continued to explain, "Of course, that's why the smaller monsters are just to create unexpected chaos. The key to whether this plan succeeds or not depends on whether I can lure the red fire spider boss to the mercenary camp." When Bai Kai said this, the group's eyes went wide, because they knew just how strong the area boss was. What you want to single-handedly pull the area boss, the level 30 red fire widow. Next, the group quickly moved towards the spider's lair to stir up trouble. While on the move, House realized another problem and spoke up. "Little Bai, your plan is interesting, but it's basically impossible to execute. First of all, we can't all escape the battle using stealth. Among us, only the princess and Miu Miu know the stealth spell." Dagu, walking ahead, heard House call him a cat and shouted angrily, "How many times do I have to tell you I'm not a cat?" Hearing this, Princess Mina also realized the problem and explained, "My stealth spell can only be used on myself, not on the whole group. Once Miu Miu and I are stealthed, the monster's hatred will be focused on House and Ray, which would be very dangerous." Hearing the Princess House immediately said, "Don't worry about me. As long as we can get the necklace back, this little danger is nothing. If I die, Miu Miu, you must take good care of the princess." Dagu beside him immediately refused. Stealth is not an option. I have to be tough. Being swarmed to death by spiders would be a kind of pleasure for me. Turning back to Bai Kai, he gave them a dose of reassurance. Relax, as long as you strictly follow my plan, no one will die. These items are for you, take them, Bai Kai said as he casually threw a few things towards the group, leaving them a bit surprised. Darkness Walker, imbued with a dark solution to achieve invisibility. Of course, you can also drink it, but there's no guarantee you won't get diarrhea. Water from the River of Darkness can grant temporary invisibility. No class restrictions, but side effects are unknown. Whisper of the Gods, a primordial deep space artifact. Compared to this original work of art, our reverse-engineered knockoffs are worthless scrap. The Deep Space Admiration Academy, an item that allows communication within 1,000 meters and can even teleport under special conditions. Frost Grenade, a genius invention that compresses elemental magic in a sealed device. Proudly presenting the genius inventor, Jared. Pull the pin to activate and throw it at the enemy. It can trigger an area of effect ice slow attack. Note that this magic device will cause indiscriminate attacks, so use it with caution. Back with Ray's group, their jaws dropped after reading the descriptions of these items. So many rare props, are you sure you're giving them all to us? I can't be seeing this right. Real original deep space items and one for each of us. Do you have any idea how much these are worth? How on earth did you get them? Were you the illegitimate son of a king in a past life or something? They exclaimed in astonishment. Meanwhile, Bak Kai just smiled faintly and thought to himself, how did I get them? By grinding endlessly, of course. Unlocking the deep space items this time is barely enough. I still need to accumulate more points to unlock another account. Thinking this, he calmly said, it doesn't matter how I got them. What matters is that with these items, my plan can proceed smoothly. Princess Mina knew that Bak Kai didn't want to talk about the origin of these items, so she quickly replied, we respect your privacy, but to be able to casually give away so many deep space items, I estimate that not even the 8 current kings could do that. The original deep space items are incredibly rare, reserved exclusively for the royal family. The royals consider them the highest reward to bestow upon nobles and knights who have performed great deeds. Although the emergence of the Deep Space Admiration Academy has made replica deep space items common, their inferior, purely cosmetic functions only highlight the value of the originals. In the 8 nations today, there are even religions that worship the original deep space items, and their followers aren't just nobles. Speaking of the Deep Space Admiration Academy, it is an independent research institution outside the 8 nations. They convert their research findings into military power and sell it to the highest bidding nation. You could say their research both advances the human world's technology and makes humanity more warlike. In the black market, original deep space items are favored by the wealthy and can be sold for astronomical prices. Hearing her say this, Bak Kai chuckled and said, that's why you sold your family heirloom on the black market for money to hire a mercenary squad. In the end, you not only lost all the money, but your heirloom necklace as well. How did you know? Mina said in embarrassment. Across from her, Bak Kai gave a knowing smile and murmured, I guessed. I know everything about you. Bak Kai thought to himself, then turned to the others and said, so don't worry, what was lost can be regained. I guarantee it. Bak Kai said with immense confidence. This made Mina's face flush as she said softly, okay, thank you. After saying that, her mind was filled with chaotic thoughts. Why do his words always make me feel so at ease? My heart is even fluttering. No, what am I thinking? Is this really the time for such thoughts? Mina thought, shaking her head vigorously to clear her mind. Meanwhile, the system issued a quest notification to our protagonist. Main quest updated, help Princess Mina retrieve the nucleus of the stars. Quest reward 1 new account, unlock point. Upon hearing this notification, Bak Kai was ecstatic. Just what I was thinking, this is perfect. He then asked the system what methods there were to get more new accounts to unlock rewards. The system immediately provided an answer. There are currently 3 ways. 1 is to complete assigned quests, 2 is to eliminate reburners, and 3 is to accumulate soul points for exchange. The methods provided by the system made Bak Kai sigh in relief. It seems the path to achieve this isn't too difficult. After helping Mina retrieve the nucleus of the stars, I'll focus on unlocking more new accounts. There's only one uncertain element left in the current plan, which needs to be tested in actual combat. Let's go. There's no turning back now. With that thought, Bok Kai took a deep breath to calm himself and said to the people behind him, "Everyone get ready. The spider monster's lair is just ahead. Bring your communicators, stay in contact, and act according to the plan. Roger." Everyone responded in unison. They cautiously advanced, and soon enough the flame spider's lair appeared before them. In their territory, the spiders had laid eggs all over the tree trunks and the ground. Just a glance was enough to tell how numerous these spiders were. And around these eggs, a few baby flame spiders could be seen crawling about from time to time. But unfortunately for them, these monsters hadn't been alive for long before they were carelessly crushed underfoot by House's group. Or rather, they had become a form of entertainment for these three goofballs. Ha ha ha. Stepping on these is so satisfying. Crackle crackle, so crispy. What a stress reliever, House said cheerfully. Beside him, Ray also smiled as he stomped on a baby spider and agreed, "You're right, all the pressure I've been feeling is finally being released. Princess, you should try it too." They said, competing to see who could stomp more. This prompted the princess to quickly reprimand them. "Stop playing around. Let's stick to Bok Kai's plan. We need to destroy enough spider eggs to anger the boss." Hearing this, Ray and the others knew the mission was important and quickly said, "Yes, ma'am." The group then competed to use their various skills to destroy all the spider eggs. At this point, for some reason, House voiced his doubt. But will destroying the eggs really make them angry? Can Bok Kai really calculate everything so perfectly? Hearing this, Ray shouted, "Don't second guess until we have a better plan. We have to trust little Bok unconditionally." "That's right. Hurry up." After saying that, the group began to destroy the eggs at maximum speed. Not long after, once a certain number of eggs had been destroyed, the level 18 adult flame spiders noticed and swarmed in to tear them apart. Seeing this, Princess Mina's group cheered happily. It worked. Little Bok was right again. Retreat according to the plan. Use the props Bok Kai gave us, but we have to wait until we're near the mercenary camp to use them. Got it, they said as they fled for their lives. And behind them was a massive teeming army of spiders. Cut to the lair of the boss monster. At that moment, it also realized that the eggs it had painfully laid had been destroyed by someone. It roared in fury. "Roar, roar, roar, my children!" This was the area boss, the level 30 Flame Spider Widow. At that very moment, a voice sounded out in front of it. "You can feel that your eggs have been destroyed, can't you? This proves the princess and the others have successfully completed the first step of the plan. Now, it's my turn." The owner of this voice was, of course, Bok Kai. It seemed he had decided to take on the most dangerous task, which was to lure the boss monster to the mercenaries' camp. The moment the massive flame spider saw Bok Kai, it swung one of its legs straight at him. Its powerful blow left a large crater in the ground. But it seemed the flame spider widow sensed that its attack had missed, so it looked ahead and asked, "Human, you dare to come to my doorstep and provoke me? Besides seeking death, what other purpose could you have?" Hearing this, Bok Kai turned his head and said tauntingly, "You want to know my purpose? Defeat me, and then we'll talk." After saying this, Bok Kai moved with incredible speed, landing 3 strikes on the flame spider widow's leg, causing it to cry out in surprise. "This speed and power, you're no ordinary human." For some reason, these words came from a girl suspended in the air by silk threads. It seemed this was an avatar created by the flame spider widow. Then she gently approached Bok Kai, touching his face with her hand, and said, "I like strong men. My eggs have been destroyed. Why don't you stay with me so we can have many more children?" But Bok Kai, despite hearing the tempting offer, was not fooled in the slightest. "Together. You mean you inject me with neurotoxins and then devour me while I'm in a state of extreme hallucination? I have no interest in becoming a source of nutrients for your egg-laying," he said as he swung his sword, slicing off the girl's head in front of him. Immediately after, the body exploded into countless strands of silk that shot out in all directions. At that moment, the fire spider widow's monster form roared, "Humph, roar, 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 how foolish! You could have had an easy death, but you chose a more painful one instead. Fine, then I will grant you that wish." After speaking, the massive monster spat out countless streams of corrosive venom, shooting them straight towards Bok Kai. But unfortunately, with the skills of a veteran player, our main character easily weaved and swerved, dodging all of the poison. At the same time, he accelerated towards the mercenary camp, thinking to himself, the boss's aggro is maxed out. But the goal isn't to fight it. The real key to victory is whether I can lure the boss out of its territory. And just as Bok Kai reached the spot, the fire spider widow was already swinging on its silk right above him. Next, it launched a sharp web net, slicing downwards and carving the ground into countless pieces. Fortunately, thanks to his main character plot armor, our Bok Kai managed to escape this attack safely. At that moment, Bok Kai reached the border of the boss's territory. In the game, bosses fiercely guard their territory and will never leave it, no matter the provocation. I've led it right to the edge. Will it be different this time? Bok Kai wondered. Meanwhile, the fire spider widow landed and yelled, "Where did your courage go? Why are you only running? Have you witnessed my power and become afraid?" How boring. I have no interest in weak males. With that, the boss monster began to ignore Bok Kai and turn back to its lair, which didn't surprise our main character at all. Just as I thought, it's not that easy. But if hate won't make it bite, I'll have to use a more tempting lure. Thinking this, Bok Kai yelled, "Wait, don't you want to know why I'm here? Fine, I'll tell you. I came on my captain's orders. Your silk is prime material for gear. Plus, we have 30 men back at camp, all stronger than me. What reason do I have to fear you?" Hearing Bok Kai's taunt, the fire spider widow shrieked with delight. "What 30 strapping men? So, dear, I'm getting all worked up. If I can just feast on those 30 strapping heroes, I'll be able to lay so many more eggs. Take me there at once, or I'll kill you now." The giant spider's voice was filled with excitement, and its demand was exactly what Bok Kai wanted. He immediately began leading the giant spider towards the mercenaries. It worked. My judgment wasn't wrong. On the surface, this world follows the original game's settings, but it's not just rigid data. This means I can use my knowledge of the game and some unconventional tactics to do things that were impossible before. So this is how you're really supposed to play in this world. This is getting more and more interesting, he thought to himself with a smile. Cutting to Princess Mina's group, they were still being chased by a wave of spider monsters. And while they were all running for their lives, Rei still had the energy to praise Bok Kai. "This is so exciting. How did Bok Kai even think of this? He's a genius." Princess Mina, running ahead, heard this and reminded him, "Don't get distracted. The mercenary camp isn't far. Stick to Bok Kai's plan. We have to hide at the edge of the camp and shift the aggro of these spider monsters onto the mercenaries." The key to this battle's success is splitting into 4 groups to surround the mercenary camp from all directions, leaving them no escape. Normally, that would be impossible, but with the items Bok Kai provided, we can do it. So we have to coordinate perfectly. We can't let these high-level items from Bok Kai go to waste. At that point, the group had arrived right in front of the mercenary camp. So Mina gave the order, "Split up now." Following her command, the 4 of them quickly split off in 4 different directions, each leading a wave of monsters behind them. Meanwhile, when the shift changed, the mercenaries discovered the 2 comrades Bok Kai had dealt with earlier and rushed to report it to their leader, Hades. "This is what we found. At some point, these 2 were killed silently. Damn it, someone dared to touch my men. Who the hell is so arrogant?" Another person looked at the 2 corpses and asked, "But we checked this damn place before and there was no one. Could it have been some kind of wild beast?" At that moment, the leader Hades was carefully examining their wounds and made his own judgment. This wound wasn't caused by a wild beast. Someone used a dagger to stab them in the neck. The others nearby heard this and exclaimed in shock, "Stabbed in the neck. Who could it be? That girl and her companions aren't dead and came back for revenge." Hearing this, Hades said, "The level of the weapon and the clean, swift technique, there's no one like that in her party." At this, he felt confused. But if it wasn't them, then who could it be? And while he was still trying to figure out who had shanked his subordinate, a man suddenly ran up from behind in a panic, hastily saying, Chief, it's bad, our camp has been breached. Hordes of spider monsters are pouring in from all sides. The others couldn't break through. I was lucky I was patrolling the edge of the camp, so I had a chance to escape and report. But most importantly, I think I briefly saw that girl's silhouette, but she vanished instantly," he said with an extremely urgent expression. His words made the leader's normally calm face change color. What that girl really got out? No way, that's impossible. What on earth happened, he thought anxiously. Cutting to the mercenary camp, just as the scout had reported, it was now being attacked from 4 sides by the fire spiders. The entire campsite was thick with smoke, and screams and curses echoed everywhere. "Ah, run! There are too many of these damned spider monsters. We can't kill them all." Someone next to him shouted, "We can't run either, all directions are blocked." "Ah, save me, I don't want to die." The white-haired mercenary screamed tragically as he was held down by a fire spider, and in the next moment, his head disappeared into the massive spider's stomach. Returning to Hade's 3 loyal lackeys, the 3 of them were struggling to fend off the attacks from all sides. The unluckiest was the big guy Marcel, who was attacked on the job. I hadn't even pulled up my pants yet, and we're getting attacked. What's with these spider monsters? Didn't the intel say their nest was far from us? Why are they attacking us proactively? The deputy leader next to him, trying to use magic to clear the monsters, couldn't help but yell angrily. How the hell should I know? Damn it, why isn't the boss back yet? We can't hold on like this. There are too many of them. And just as he said that, a spider in front of them was suddenly sliced in two, and the one who did it was none other than Hades. Seeing this, Marcel and the others cheered. The boss is back. Great, we're saved. Boss, lead us to fight back against these damned spider monsters. Let's kill these disgusting bugs, the 3 of them said in unison. In response to this foolish request, Hades roared, "Kill my ass, we've been set up. These spider monsters were deliberately lured to our camp. We don't stand a chance. Grab all the valuables and run." The swordsman Kula heard this and said in shock, What about our brothers?" Hearing this, Hades shot him a dangerous look and said coldly, "Brothers in times of danger, brothers are just there to block a blade for you. Only money remains with it. You can get as many brothers as you want." After saying that, he ran directly towards the money, not even caring if his subordinates followed him. Of course, these guys had to follow and leech off their boss. The big guy, Marcel, even had to admire his boss's cold-bloodedness. The boss is truly the boss, so decisive and ruthless, even at a critical moment. That's right, as long as the money is still there. But just as he said that, his voice was cut short, because at that moment, the entire cart of gold in front of them was tossed into the air by the boss monster, the Fire Spider Widow, causing gold coins to rain down across the border. "The money, our money," the group cried out in despair. Looking back at the Fire Spider Widow, upon seeing the men before it, it went wild with joy. That guy wasn't lying. There really are a lot of strapping men. I can lay so many more eggs now. All of you will become my nutrients, ha ha ha. The boss monster laughed as it shot out countless threads in every direction, binding the mercenaries tightly. At the same time, it sprayed a corrosive poison from its rear, aiming directly at the leader and his men. "Damn it," he yelled, leaping aside to dodge. But the vice captain wasn't as fortunate. He was already caught in the widow's web and couldn't move, taking a direct hit from the corrosive poison. After seeing Heath dodge its attack, the Goa Fu Nen Lua spoke in surprise. "So you're the leader that kid mentioned. You're the one who sent people to pull my silk and take my cocoons. Now that I've appeared, all you do is run," she said while continuously spitting poison, forcing the leader to struggle to evade. In this life or death moment, he somehow still had the energy to ponder the monster's words. That kid, could he be the one behind this? But why harm us? Is he with the princess's group? No, if the princess knew someone that dangerous, she wouldn't have asked for our help. What in the world is going on? He thought, his head aching. Just as this thought crossed his mind, the Vice Captain Yuri grabbed his leg from below and spoke weakly. Help me, boss. I don't want to die yet." Hearing this, he slowly extended a hand to help him up, and Yuri quickly thanked him. "Thank you, boss. You haven't abandoned me." He spoke with a deeply moved voice, but unfortunately, he was thanking the wrong person, because right after that, his boss threw him straight towards the Goa Pu Nen Lua. His body was immediately torn to shreds, but it at least bought Heath a little time to turn and flee. He knew he couldn't fight without finding that mastermind. "I have to escape. Using the crowd as cover and with my speed getting away alone won't be a problem. A shame about the money, though," he thought as he weaved through the battlefield, leaving his comrades behind. Just then, the remaining mercenaries saw the boss and panicked. "It's a boss. We're done for." Damn it, this is insane. Did I pour my heart and soul into building this legion just to see it destroyed like this? I can't accept it, but at least I still have this necklace. As long as I have it, I have the capital to rise again. He calmed down a bit, remembering the necklace. Then Heath spotted a familiar figure ahead and realized that person is... Yes, it's that girl. She's the one behind all of this. She really did escape from that side cave, but this time I won't give you any chance to live. Die, he thought as he rushed towards Minna, swinging his blade right through her. But unfortunately for him, this Minna was just an illusion created by one of Bok Kai's items, which left Heath utterly shocked. A spatial item, he thought. How is that possible? There's no way she could have such a high-grade item. And in answer to his question, a knife was placed against his neck, followed by a cold voice. There are many things beyond your understanding. Who's there? Heath shouted simultaneously, swinging his arm backward to attack and push Bok Kai away. Then he noticed the dagger in Bok Kai's hand and yelled, "A dagger! You're that guy! So you're the one who started all of this. You arranged all this just to steal this necklace," he said, his voice filled with anger. But then he noticed Bok Kai's level was only 12 and burst out laughing. "Ha ha ha, I was being too cautious. I never imagined the mastermind was a level 12 assassin. Ha ha ha, I admit your plan was mostly successful, but showing up in person to claim the prize will be your downfall. You think you can beat me in a direct fight," Heath said as he formed two blades of light on his hands and shot towards Bok Kai like an arrow. But Bok Kai reacted very quickly. As soon as the man charged, he leaped high into the air to dodge the slash. The fact that Bok Kai could dodge his attack so easily made Heath reevaluate his opponent's abilities. This speed and agility, is he really just level 10? He wondered silently. As for Bok Kai, he held out a hand, taunting Heath. "What if all these arrangements were just for this final duel with you? Let's begin and see who's the last one standing." Hearing this, Heath asked curiously, "You want to kill me alone? Then you've already missed your best chance. Why didn't you sneak attack me earlier instead of fighting head-on?" He spoke with a naive tone to bait Bok Kai, but his opponent saw right through him. The passive trait of a Du Hip Nguyen to you are naturally immune to sneak attacks. If I tried, I would be stunned and put at a disadvantage, Bok Kai said coldly. Realizing he couldn't fool Bok Kai, Heath dropped the act. Interesting. For a low-level kid, you know quite a bit. But I overestimated the coward behind the scenes, and now I'm paying for it. I'll make your death especially ugly to ease my regret. As he spoke, he used a strange skill, forming two fiery claws on his arms. Then he immediately charged straight at Bok Kai, aiming to draw blood. The most peculiar thing was that this skill looked like a melee attack, but it was actually a mid-range move. As soon as he was in range, Heath swung his arm forcefully, creating several blades of light that slashed towards Bok Kai. Bok Kai could only keep tumbling to dodge these dangerous attacks. Seeing Bok Kai struggle, Heath said with amusement, "Dodging is useless. Since you know so much, you should also know that a Nguyen To Du Hip is the natural counter to an Sat Jia. From the very beginning, you already knew the outcome of this duel." On his end, Bok Kai had to agree with him. This was the reality. An Sat Jia's stealth sneak attacks and speed were all useless against a Nguyen To Du Hip, but it wasn't impossible to overcome class limitations. One could rely on combat experience to make up for it. Therefore, experience wasn't the key to victory. The real deciding factor was skill. As he thought, Bok Kai gracefully weaved through the blades of light. Then, with incredible speed, he successfully closed the distance and landed a hit on Heath. Unfortunately, Heath managed to block the attack in time, his health only dropping by a small amount. However, the fact that Bok Kai could counterattack in an instant intrigued him. "To successfully counter my continuous attacks, your combat experience is far beyond my imagination, but when there's a huge difference in skill, experience means nothing." Seeing his attack had no effect, Bok Kai planned his next move. "I have 10 base levels and 30 peak levels, which only affect stats. My skills are only at level 10, while his are advanced skills at level 30. A complete Nguyen To Du Hip's armament is too strong." While he was thinking, Heath used a skill to grow wings, allowing him to float. He looked at Bok Kai and taunted, "You have some talent, but not enough. It ends here. I'll kill you, then I'll kill that woman. Die," he said, charging at Bok Kai with godlike speed. After summoning the wings, his speed reached a new level, so much so that even someone with Bok Kai's quick reflexes couldn't completely dodge. The tip of his sword grazed Bok Kai's left arm. Without giving Bok Kai a chance to catch his breath, Heath followed up with a horizontal slash aimed right at him. And in that moment, just as Heath thought it was all over, Bok Kai's calm voice rang out, "End here. No, if I dared to face you one-on-one, it's because I have a way to eliminate you, As he spoke, Bok Kai gripped his cloak, and miraculously it seemed he had used it to block the last attack. Turning to Heiss after hearing what Bok Kai just said, he burst into laughter out of anger. Ha ha ha, so how exactly do you plan to eliminate me? Do you even need to ask? Obviously, I'll use a hack, Bok Kai said with a smile, taking out a purple crystal. This is the profession item, Hui Ki. Want to experience what it's like at a higher level? This is just the thing. A level 50 consumable item, it can unlock a level 50 profession skill for 3 minutes. If skills are the key to victory, I'll use a level 50 skill to crush you. As Bok Kai spoke, he crushed the crystal in his palm. Immediately after, he used the An Sat Than skill. An Sat Than, the level 50 profession skill of the An Sat Jia. It cuts rifts in space with a blade, summoning an umbral demon from the umbral realm to aid in battle. As soon as Bok Kai used this skill, a massive magic circle appeared beneath his feet. At the same time, a cloud of purple smoke erupted from behind him, and from within it, the figure of a ferocious demon emerged. Heiss, who was standing in front, didn't understand what was happening and thought it was just some illusion Bok Kai had summoned to scare him. What kind of trickery is this? You really have a lot of strange toys. After I kill you, they'll all be mine, ha ha ha, he said as he charged forward excitedly as if he could already see himself enjoying this pile of items. On the other side, Bok Kai, after using the skill, didn't hesitate to confront him head on. As a result, the moment their hands clashed, it created a shockwave that blew away the surrounding earth and rocks. Then the arrogant Heiss couldn't withstand the pressure from Bok Kai's blow and was sent flying backward. Even the feathers on his wings were now gone. How is this possible? This isn't a trick. It's the terrifying pressure from a level 50 skill. Run or I'll die. Heiss thought anxiously, and he immediately decided to use the flying ability of his wings to escape. Why does that kid have such a high-level item? Damn it. He silently cursed Bok Kai in his heart. Meanwhile, Bok Kai on the other side, upon seeing his intention to flee, summoned several demonic arms that shot towards him. And before Heiss could react, he was slammed to the ground by these arms. After seeing that Heiss was restrained by his arms, Bok Kai calmly approached and taunted him. Didn't you want me to die a horrible death? Why are you trying to run now? Faced with this taunt, Heiss yelled, if you had such a powerful item, why didn't you use it from the beginning? Did you look down on me from the start, deliberately showing weakness only to crush me with overwhelming power? We had no prior grudges, so why push things this far? Who in the world are you? Heiss said with a look of utter confusion, a stark contrast to his earlier confidence. Turning to Bok Kai, after Heiss finished speaking, he replied, you're very smart, but sometimes being too smart can be your downfall. You've chosen the wrong path. I was wrong. Isn't this what you wanted? I shouldn't have laid my eyes on it in the first place. It's yours, just spare me. Heiss said, hurriedly handing Bok Kai the bracelet he had been keeping. I much prefer your arrogant demeanor from before, but I want both the necklace and your life, Bok Kai said as he began to charge forward and attack, and with just a few slashes. He beat the man until he had no strength to stand, and his health bar hit rock bottom. Cough, cough. Why don't you just kill me directly? How much longer are you going to toy with me? Heiss said helplessly. At the same time, he was now afflicted with the effects of pain, fear, and paralysis. Bok Kai then picked up the necklace beside him and said, if you were my enemy, you wouldn't have survived until now. I'm letting you live for now because I have a promise with someone else. Next, he threw the necklace to Mina, who was standing behind him, and reminded her, I've done what I was supposed to do, now it's your turn. But before the boss arrives, if you have anything to ask now. At that moment, the system also gave Bok Kai a notification. Congratulations on completing the side quest player. Bok Kai receives 8,000 soul points and 1 unlocked card point. Turning to Mina after catching the necklace that Bok Kai threw to her, she slowly approached Heiss and asked, hey, why didn't you kill us directly back then, but threw us into that cave of suffering instead? I want to know your real reason for doing that. To her question, Heiss put on a defiant expression and said, what are you hoping for? For me to say it was because I had a sliver of kindness left in my heart and beg you to spare my life. Don't be ridiculous. I just wanted you to die a more painful death. I regret it now. I regret not killing you all directly from the start, giving you the chance to come back and kill me. This is my fate, I accept it. As he said this, Ba Kai stared at him and thought, still talking tough when death is at your door. His fate isn't just this one life. The reason I didn't kill him is because he bet on the princess's luck. If I had chosen not to save the princess, she would have escaped the cave of suffering on her own, and he would have truly submitted to her helping her restore her kingdom. The princess's faction would then be my enemy. I can only prioritize my own interests. Whether it affects others' fates is not my concern. Don't blame me. This world is just that cruel. Turning back to Heiss, he continued speaking. But your fate is much more tragic than mine, because you have made an enemy of this entire world. Ha ha ha. Hearing this, Hao, who was standing beside them, couldn't hold back and shouted, "Shut up," he said as he charged at the man with his sword. But fortunately, just as his sword was about to strike, Heiss's body was suddenly ensnared by a web of silk and pulled aside, allowing him to narrowly escape death. And the one who saved him was none other than the Fire Spider Widow. "He is mine," she declared coldly. Heiss then began to laugh maniacally. "Ha ha ha, I'd rather be drained by the boss than die by your hands. You've lost your chance to kill me. I've won." As Heiss said this, he fell silent as his entire body was encased in a spider web. The Fire Spider Widow then stared at Ba Kai and yelled, "I've finally found you, you little brat. The camp you led me to has already been moved by me. Now it's just you left. Once I capture you, I can return to my lair and enjoy you at my leisure." She laughed loudly. Ba Kai knew the situation was extremely dangerous, so he held out his hand to stop the others. "Everyone stand back. I'll handle this boss." After speaking, he thought to himself, the only Hui Ki Chuk Nyep has been used up, and the effect will wear off in less than a minute. I have to end this quickly. In response to Ba Kai's words, Princess Mina's entire group stepped forward in unison. "You've done so much for us already. We can't let you fight alone again. Ba Kai, being timid and living quietly is not our style. Let us help you," they said in unison. Meanwhile, the Fire Spider Widow, seeing the group's renewed spirit of resistance, became a little angry. "You still want to resist? I'll capture the men and kill the women. That's my decision." After speaking, her entire body erupted in fierce flames and she charged towards the group like a tank. But at that very moment, just as the two groups were about to collide, a loud explosion suddenly echoed from behind them, kicking up a cloud of dust and dirt. Then a dangerous aura and sound from someone else spread across the battlefield. "Whose growls are these who dares to growl above my head?" the widow shouted in a familiar tone. And what answered her was a giant foot slamming down, crushing her massive body flat against the ground. And the owner of this foot was a dragon whose size and ferocity were terrifyingly greater. This is the ancient dragon Beck and Blade. At this moment, just one of its roars made the air tremble violently. Why would an ancient dragon appear here? Ba Kai wondered. Meanwhile, the Fire Spider boss was trying to get back up, and the two giant monsters began to lock into a struggle. Back with Princess Mina's group, the scene before them was truly terrifying. How can this be? The legendary ancient dragon has suddenly appeared. Should we fight or run? My legs won't move. Seeing the group start to panic, Bai Kai quickly raised a hand to calm them down. He told everyone to stay put and not make any sudden movements. But even as he reassured them, Bai Kai was inwardly frantic. Damn it, another detail that doesn't match the setup has appeared. I have to find a solution quickly. Cutting to the scene, this foolish spider, unaware of the power gap between it and the one above, was still screeching loudly. "What kind of foolish bird are you? Why have I never seen you before? Not only did you trespass on my territory, but you dare to step on my head. Get off, or I'll suck you dry." As she spoke, a fierce flame erupted from her back. This forced the Kolong to lift its foot. Seeing this, the widow spider was overjoyed. "So you're scared after all? Heh, you're asking for death. I'll suck you dry." But the words had barely left her mouth. The ancient dragon snapped its jaws shut, trapping the creature's small body inside. With a loud crack, the monster insect's body shattered into countless pieces, splattering green blood everywhere. Meanwhile, Bai Kai, who was watching from the other side, wasn't too surprised. In the original game, there was a clear racial hierarchy among wild species, where they would ignore level differences and fight if they didn't submit. Thankfully, the boss, Shich Hoachu, bought him enough time to calm down and search his memories for information about this black dragon. The ancient dragon beacon blade. No, its true name is the guardian great dragon beacon blade. He was one of 3 great dragons guarding the world's soul. Besides this black male, there were 2 females, one red and one blue, all legendary beings. After the world's soul was shattered and the capital destroyed, Beacon Blade was last seen during the first battle of the falling stars before vanishing. I know he's a hidden boss, and I've seen him before, but only when I was high level. Facing him now is impossible to survive. Bai Kai silently considered his options. Meanwhile, Beacon Blade opened its mouth, gathering fire, and ready to unleash it at any moment. The ancient dragon is about to breathe fire. We don't have a plan. We're dead for sure, Gray said in despair. In the end, it was Bai Kai who stepped forward to save everyone's hides. Please wait a moment. Don't kill us. We are not your enemies, Bai Kai shouted, and as if it understood Bai Kai's words, Beacon Blade began to dissipate the fire in its mouth, temporarily listening to what he had to say. Seeing the dragon suddenly stop, the group was astonished. What happened? Did Bai Kai's words really stop the ancient dragon from breathing fire? That was the language of the great dragons. Beacon Blade turned its fierce eyes on Bai Kai and questioned him. You a mere mortal, how do you know the great dragon language? In your short and ugly history, the number of humans who knew it could be counted on 2 hands. In response, Bai Kai replied with the utmost respect, I not only know the great dragon language, I also know of your noble and mysterious identity, esteemed great guardian. The reason for this was that Bai Kai had used the skill book Kulong Mat Ngu. Kulong Mat Ngu listened to the whisper of the great dragon, achieve perfect resonance, and you will gradually understand and speak as a great dragon. Using the skill book allows one to learn the language, and while it has no IQ requirement, it has an extremely high EQ requirement, because one wrong word could get you turned into a flying piece of charcoal. Back to Bai Kai, he was now on one knee, bowing his head and laying on the flattery. Guardian of the world's soul, witness to rules and laws, most esteemed partner of Vuong Tin Du, representative of the Black Spirit's power and flame, Lord Guardian, Great Dragon Beacon Blade. This humble one, Bai Kai, greets you and offers you my highest reverence and worship. Hearing Bai Kai's words, Beacon Blade opened its maw and roared, how do you know these titles of mine? Who are you? Tell me why, or I will tear you to pieces. Don't think you can deceive me with just a few words. You humans represent the peak of pettiness and cunning. I will never trust the words of anyone ever again. Seeing it fly into a rage, Bai Kai carefully observed a wound on Beacon Blade's body and made a guess. Is that a fresh wound? That must be what's making it so furious and impatient. In the original game, Beacon Blade wouldn't actively show hostility towards humans, so this series of incidents must be related to the Trong Nien Jia. Speak or die. Beacon Blade roared as sparks gathered in its mouth, forcing Bai Kai to continue his bluff. Great Guardian, please calm your anger. This humble one would never dare to deceive you. I know these things because... It is because I serve the last child of the Tin Du royal family, one who shares a close bond with you. At this, Bai Kai pointed to Princess Mina behind him and introduced her. This is the last of the Tin Du royal bloodline, Princess Mina Tin Du. Although I don't know what Bai Kai is planning, I must maintain my absolute aura and not back down. Mina screamed internally as she stepped forward confidently. Meanwhile, Bai Kai started using his game knowledge to persuade the dragon. According to your pact with the Tin Du royal family, you not only cannot kill her on principle, but you are also obligated to protect her. In response to Bai Kai's bold words, the dragon laughed in anger. Daring to threaten me, ha ha ha. You are an interesting little human. What I protect is the soul of the world's balance, not to be a bodyguard for mankind. The pact with the Tin Du royal family was merely for amusement in my long life. Besides, our pact ended the moment they were wiped out. And you just grabbing some random person and calling her the last of the royal bloodline, my patience has run out. But I will give you one last chance. Prove who she is, or you will all die. The Dragon Beacon Blade had officially lost its temper. I understand. Please examine this. As he spoke, Bai Kai took out Mina's necklace containing the Tin Chi Hak to prove her identity. This Tin Chi Hatch can only be possessed by those of the royal bloodline. This should be enough proof. He hadn't even finished his sentence. Suddenly, Beacon Blade opened its mouth and attacked with a blast of fire, forcing Bai Kai to quickly grab Princess Mina and leap aside to dodge the attack. Damn it, Bai Kai cursed under his breath. This is Beacon Blade's ultimate skill, Ku Long Tho Tuk. After unleashing its fiery breath, the dragon paused and spoke. A mere mortal dares to defile the supreme and great Tin Chi Hach. Whoever they are, they deserve to die. Hearing this, Bai Kai quickly retorted, I wasn't finished speaking. You act as a witness to the rules and order, yet you yourself break them. Have you lost the dignity of a guardian and completely fallen into darkness? Bai Kai questioned, while secretly lamenting his loss. Even though we survived, I wasted 2 precious Tam Kong items. The dragon paid no mind to Bai Kai's words and began gathering power in its mouth for a second attack. To think you could block my dragon's breath. I have seen your item before during the Tui Lak Chien Tran Chi Tin, but it can only block my attack once. There won't be a second time. Seeing Beacon Blade was determined to eliminate them, Bai Kai gave up on negotiating. How can I solve this impossible situation? Start a new account. Hope for victory is slim. Even with 25% of my items unlocked, I have few that can counter an ancient dragon. The Huyet Long Trong and Long Kot Kiem I unlocked could save me, but my strength is too low to equip them. What now? Is that the only way left? As he thought this, having made up his mind, Bai Kai turned to Princess Mina. There is only one way to break this stalemate, but it will cause you extreme harm and pain. Go ahead, Bai Kai. As long as we can survive, I can endure any amount of pain, Mina said with a determined voice. Upon hearing this, Bai Kai immediately knocked her unconscious. Don't worry, this method will definitely help us escape alive. I have to rely on you for this, he said silently to himself, while Hao, still confused and worried, began to speak Bai Kai. I don't have time to explain everything. Bai Kai immediately cut him off with a warning. Don't let the princess know a single word of what's about to happen. What on earth are you planning to do? He shouted. Following his gaze, he saw Bai Kai gripping his weapon, preparing to stab the princess in the stomach. Bai Kai, what are you doing? Stop, everyone screamed, but it was too late to stop him. Bai Kai's blade plunged deep into the princess's chest. Rest assured, I will use the most exquisite technique to minimize your pain, he told himself, and after feeling the tip of the blade touch Mina's heart, Bai Kai quickly pulled it out. Then he carefully dripped a single drop of blood from Princess Mina's heart onto the crystal. At the same time, the massive dragon beacon blade had no intention of dragging things out any longer and roared, Your time is up, as soon as the words were spoken. A blast of fire shot from its mouth, aiming straight for the 5 of them and creating a massive explosion. However, the flames were blocked by a set of gigantic armor that appeared before them, and its appearance startled the great dragon. What? This majestic appearance, how can this be? Why is it him, the human I could never forget? The first king of the Tindu kingdom, Minotilis Tindu. You've been dead for 100 years, so why have you descended upon this world again? No way, this has to be some kind of trick. Don't even think of fooling me. Beach Canbo. Let said in a panic. Seeing this, Bakai just smirked. Whether it's a trick or not, you'll find out once we fight. He spoke with a provocative tone, causing the dragon to start getting furious. You damned ants. No matter how many times you struggle and cry for help, this will be the final fatal blow. I swear I will turn you all to dust. After speaking, it unleashed its ultimate move, Chung Kuk Thon Tuk, firing a massive pillar of light directly at the armor in front of it. Just like that, an explosion like an atomic bomb erupted within the forest. This Chung Kuk Thon Tuk, it can melt even the strongest steel. You shouldn't have used an illusion of Minatilis to anger me. Bish Kanbo Let muttered, but contrary to its expectations at that very moment. Bakai's voice rang out illusion. Then you should open your eyes and see for yourself if this is an illusion or not. Trandiet. As soon as he finished speaking, the giant armor was still standing majestically in front of him, and then it immediately stomped its foot down hard on the ground, creating a shockwave that blew everything away. By now, even if it didn't want to believe it, Bichkan Bo Let had to accept it. There's no mistake, this is the true power of Minatilis, but I saw you die with my own eyes. I never expected the Tin Chi Hach to hide such heaven-defying strength. Absolutely impossible. Is that girl really a descendant of Minatilis? Very well, I couldn't kill you before, so today I'll kill your descendant. Big Can Bo Let screamed. At the same time, it launched an attack with a whip of its tail, but it was immediately knocked away by the armor's shield using the Fan Dan skill. Was that Pan Dan? Bichkanbo Let muttered. Fan Dan, at the moment of an opponent's attack, used the shield to deflect it, temporarily stunning them and greatly increasing the power of the next attack. Nearby House's group could hardly believe their eyes. How can something so massive use a high difficulty skill like Fan Dan? I've only ever read about So Vuong in fairy tales or seen ruined carvings. To think I'd get to witness the power of this So Vuong firsthand. So strong it's giving me goosebumps. Dagu shouted, his eyes wide. Meanwhile, Ba Kai wasn't surprised by the armor's power. The strength of So Vuong is undeniable, but fatal flaws are unavoidable. I have to end this fight quickly before that happens. Ba Kai thought to himself. Back in the fight, Bichkanbo Let was being completely overpowered by the armor. Damn it, this move again. Why, after hundreds of years have passed? Does this immense pressure still make me tremble, reminding me of that distant past when I first met him? As it was thinking, the giant dragon recalled its first encounter with So Vuong. Bichkanbo Let, don't just hide in your cave all day, come with me. My name is Minotilus, the king of humanity. Let's be friends and protect this world together. In response to the king's offer, Bichkanbo Let angrily roared, You human, how dare you appear before me, and a foolish one at that. Go die. And just like that, the two of them began to fight. I was just over 100 years old at the time, but I never expected to be cornered like that by a human. Do as you wish, kill me or spare me, but I will never take orders from a human ever. Bichkanbo Let said, gritting its teeth. Is that so? Then I shall grant your wish and let you taste the pain of being skinned alive to see if you can bear it. As he spoke, the first king began to swing his sword, but stopped just before the tip touched the dragon. Are you trembling? It seems that even as a dragon, you still fear death. Then I'll give you one last chance. You can hate me, and one day when you feel you're strong enough, you can fight me to the death. But until then, you will work with me. Where does this human get his confidence? The lifespan of a human is no more than 100 years. Compared to our 1,000-year lifespan, even if I were to fight now, I can't defeat him. It won't be long before I can kill his loved ones. Bichkanbo Let thought to itself and quickly made a decision. Fine, I agree. And so time passed quickly until the first Trui Tin Chi Chen. The first king was already dead by then, but before I could act, a man as powerful as Minotilus died in that war. Though I regained my freedom, my greatest regret is that I couldn't kill him with my own hands. Why is that? Hundreds of years have passed, yet I still can't escape his shadow. At that moment, the armor swung the sword in its hand with such force that the wind pressure alone was enough to split the earth, and just like before, the sword stopped just before it could cut the dragon in half. Has the fear really been ingrained so deeply? Bichkanbo Let thought frantically before screaming, No, it can't be. I won't let you dredge up those memories of my weakness. Why won't you leave me alone, even in death? Repeating the same old trick. You want me to submit to your descendants now? No, never. From this day forward, I submit to no one. At this point, Bichkanbo Let's voice choked as it suddenly opened its mouth and vomited. With that, a treasure chest emerged from its stomach, and only after spitting it out did its voice return to normal. No one can suppress me. No one can enslave me ever again. I am free, ha ha ha. Saying this, Bichkanbo Let tucked its tail and fled in terror. Once it was gone, House's group dared to approach. The evil dragon fled. We're alive, we won without even fighting. Dagu said, still scared. Princess Little Bach, why didn't you just kill that dragon with your final attack? Gary asked curiously. Bach Kai quietly explained, it lost its will to fight, so I didn't kill it. Besides, the summon for So Vuong had ended. Scaring it off was the best we could do. As he said this, Bach Kai frowned and thought to himself, it seems it hasn't fully recovered from the first Trui Tin Chi Chien. Its mental state is unstable. Otherwise, at the princess's current level summoning, So Vuong wouldn't have been enough to suppress the black dragon for any length of time. As he thought this, the summoned armor began to fade away. At the same time, a congratulatory system notification appeared. Player Bach Kai has defeated Siri, the Covenant of Justice, the boss, Shich Hoa Hong Kwa Fu, and the Thu Ho Ku Long, earning over 40,000 points. The following items were acquired. An ancient treasure chest covered in saliva. Want to strike it rich? Then don't mind the smell. It's an ancient chest swallowed long ago by the giant dragon. No one knows its origins or contents. Riches or death lie just a moment away. We'll skip over this for now. Rei and Dagu also leveled up from the shared experience. Why did I suddenly gain 2 levels? But why don't I feel happy at all? Dagu said despondently. His friend Rei didn't look thrilled about leveling up either. Having just witnessed a battle between 2 behemoths, they were acutely aware of their own weakness. A level or 2 meant nothing. Only by seeing such unimaginable power firsthand did they realize how small they truly were. Meanwhile, the guardhouse called out, "This is no time for whining. The princess, is she okay? Bak Kai, how was the Tini Chi? Hach used like that. What in the world happened?" He spoke with such urgency that Bak Kai had to quickly explain. The Hach Chitam is a type of energy incomprehensible to humans. It can only be activated with heart's blood from the royal bloodline. For her safety, you must remain silent about what happened here. If not given her strong will, the princess will surely rush into danger again. But I had no choice if we were to survive this. "I'm truly sorry," Bak Kai said with a bow. Seeing this, the others rushed to stop him. "Why are you apologizing? You saved us from the Black Dragon. We owe you our lives for that. Besides, the princess did it willingly. Her strength and courage are beyond imagination. Of course, she is someone worthy of your lifelong devotion." Bak Kai nodded in agreement, then surveyed the area and suggested, "It's time we left this scorched forest, but we can't just abandon this disgusting treasure chest before we go." "That's right. The chest looks very high level. There's bound to be something valuable inside," Rei said excitedly, but Dagu quickly interjected a reminder. "But didn't you read the description? Riches or death in a single moment. What do you suppose that means?" Back to Bak Kai, he approached the chest and muttered, "That inscription means there's a high chance this chest is a trap." Despite this, Bak Kai was incredibly curious. The fight with the great dragon was over and everyone was alive, but a new problem had emerged. What exactly was inside this chest? Seeing Bak Kai's excited expression as if he was about to open the chest, Rei quickly tried to stop him. "Little Bak, don't get reckless. Didn't you just say it was probably a trap? Don't do anything crazy." Beside them, the world-weary Dagu nodded in agreement. This thing could be a mimic. "How about I open it instead? With your reaction times, you'd be goners. Mio, I'm quick, but I might be able to dodge the danger." Back to Bak Kai, he obviously knew what Rei's warnings meant. Of course, I know what a mimic is. It's a type of soft-bodied monster that parasitizes treasure chests to lure adventurers obsessed with treasure. The moment you open the lid, it swallows you whole. They usually appear in ruins or at the end of labyrinths. When I was first exploring in the game, I got eaten by them countless times. I've never seen a treasure chest like this one before, but I'm pretty sure it is. With that thought, Bak Kai prepared to open the chest. Behind him, Rei and Dagu gripped their weapons, waiting seriously. "Be careful. Take it slow. Let me count to 3, then you open it," Rei said calmly. But before he could finish, Bak Kai kicked the lid of the chest clean off. "Little Bak, you're not playing by the rules again. Don't you dare." But Rei didn't even have a chance to scold him further, because a mountain of gold coins erupted from inside the chest, making everyone's eyes bulge out. "Oh my God, gold coins are gushing out like a fountain. Are we rich now?" Mayo Dagu exclaimed in a daze. Even our hero couldn't hide his joy. "Looks like my guess was right. The description on the chest was just an anti-theft measure. A real mimic wouldn't have any description at all." Then besides the huge pile of money, the chest also spat out a few valuable items. "You have opened the party chest and received the Fairy King's coin. The glory of the Fairy King surpasses all glory in this world. An ancient coin minted to commemorate the coronation of the first king Minotilis. It is incredibly rare. Holy crap. I can't believe it's a Fairy King's coin. This thing is worth a fortune." The hero screamed internally and quickly looked at the next item. The next item was a key. "This is the key to the Hell of Exile. Lava fresh blood burning you alive. Are you sure you want to open that forbidden door? A key to a level 50 instance dungeon. This key can open a door to some hell hidden in the exiled lands. As for what awaits behind that door, don't ask me." The next item was a map. Coordinates of the Dungeon of Exile. I poured my life's blood into finding that dungeon, but alas, I am old and weak. This map is best buried with me. It shows a hell hidden in history drawn by an ancient, as if meant to be lost forever. Reading this, Bak Kai's jaw dropped again. This hell dungeon didn't exist in the game. It seems very dangerous. I'll wait until I've leveled up before exploring it. The final item was a lamp called the Soul Summoning Bell. Do you hear that? That eerie bell is the living summoning the dead. Smear the ashes of a specific character on the bell, and when it rings, the soul of that boss's ashes will be summoned to fight for you. Meanwhile, Ray had picked up a gold coin and was staring at it, trying to see if it was real. I'm not seeing things, am I? This is a Fairy King's coin, right? One of these can be exchanged for 50 regular gold coins. This is amazing. Oh my god. Come on, let me drown in these coins, Meo Dagu said as he started rolling around in the pile of gold. With this much money, he probably wouldn't be thinking about giving up on life anymore. Over here, seeing their eyes light up, Ba Kai calmly said, "You all can take all the money, the other items are mine, but be careful not to get tricked again." Hearing this, House quickly called out from behind, "That's not fair to you. You're the one who contributed most in all these fights. We wouldn't have a problem if you took the majority, but why are you giving us all the money?" In response, Ba Kai smiled and explained, "It's not that I don't need the money. Consider it my investment in your great cause of restoring your nation. I hope that after you succeed, I can receive an even greater return. It seems I have to reevaluate you. You're not just a powerful hero, but also a straightforward and far-sighted merchant. I will accept this investment on behalf of the princess, because if she were awake, she would gladly accept it too." As he spoke, House extended his hand. Ba Kai reached out his hand in return. "I think so too." Beside them, Ray cheered, "Awesome! Are we really on the same side now?" "So, what's your plan, little Bach? Coming with us. We're sticking to our original plan to hire mercenaries and then head to Baron Robbie's place. The princess is very weak right now. That's the only place we can go." Hearing them say this, Ba Kai began to stroke his chin in thought. Baron Robbie, of course I know him, a famous noble of the Duchy of Elena. He's rich, well-connected, and has a fierce personality. He's a man who's both a villain and a righteous protector of his family. Since he was favored by the Starlight royal family, he has no ill will towards Princess Mina. She can hide and be well protected there. After thinking, Ba Kai gently shook his head and declined. "I'm heading to An-Ka village next, so I can't go with you all." An-Ka village, I remember seeing a small village with that name on the map nearby. But what are you going to do in such a small village? Ray wondered. But before he could ask more, House stopped him. "That's enough, Ray. Ba Kai must have his own plans. We shouldn't ask too much." As he spoke, he also lifted the princess onto his back and added, "We'll be at Baron Robbie's for a long time. If you finish your business, you can come find us. So goodbye for now, Ba Kai. We look forward to seeing you again. We'll definitely raise a glass to welcome you, and we still need to have that life or death match," Dagu said. "You need to take care of yourself, little Bach," he added. Hearing their words, Ba Kai waved goodbye. "We'll meet again, I guarantee it. Also, when the princess wakes up, don't forget to apologize to her for me." "All right," they said with a nod. And just like that, the group split up to follow their own paths. And by successfully helping Princess Mina retrieve her item and rescuing the group, Ba Kai's reputation was raised to a new level. Player Ba Kai, your reputation with Princess Mina's faction has greatly increased. Scene changes to the abyss created by the armored suit's sword. Just then, countless arms suddenly shot out from the ground, grasping upwards. Then a ferocious demon face roared up at the sky. It seemed the battle had unintentionally awakened some terrifying creature. Wailing Cave level 20 to 30. Exploration progress 100%. Originally, the game's first chapter had 3 maps. Completing all 3 at 100% would grant the final reward. However, the current progress order is completely reversed. Soul King's Throne is an open-world game. I can skip the starter village quests and progression, but as a top-tier player with all the achievements, I can't accept an incomplete map or mission progress that isn't at 100%. Ever since I was reborn into this world, I haven't had time to calm down, review things, and plan for the future. And K Village is the perfect place to do all that. Although this village is poor, it's relatively safe and peaceful. The people are optimistic and positive, making it a rare place that has retained its humanity in these chaotic times. And it's all thanks to the village chief, Inca View. He manages the village effectively and was always enthusiastic about helping me when I was a new player. He's a reliable person, but something isn't right. The environment here is unnaturally quiet. There are no insect calls, no birds chirping, and even the usual nightly noise of villagers drinking around the campfire is gone. Moreover, the road into the village is much more desolate than I remember. Is it just me, or Just as he was thinking this, a horrifying scream suddenly rang out, catching his attention. There's definitely something wrong with this village. I need to figure out what's going on, and fast. Bok Kai thought to himself and began to speed up, rushing towards the village as fast as he could. The scene shifts to a corner of the village. Right now, strange sounds like some sort of chant echo, continuously making one feel extremely uneasy. On a small stone platform, a boy is tied up by 3 cloaked figures. He tries to struggle, but it's completely useless. Then the one in the white robe among the 3 speaks up. Why did you try to run away? Are you just going to abandon your parents without a care? Stop this pointless struggling. Seizing the chance to ascend is your best choice. Hearing this, the boy realizes they are about to sacrifice him and struggles even more violently, but his feeble strength is no match for the iron chains. Meanwhile, the man in white grows tired of watching the boy struggle and orders the one next to him, "It's time begin." "Yes." He responds and at the same time takes out a jar. From inside the jar, a very ferocious-looking centipede emerges. It falls directly onto the boy, making him turn pale with fear. At the same time, the group begins their incantations. As if obeying a command, the centipede uses its sharp pincers to stab directly into the boy. The pain causes his eyes to bulge, but at that very moment, from a distance, a dagger suddenly flies over, stabbing straight into the centipede, and pinning it tightly to a nearby tree trunk, startling these villains. Who is it, they say carefully, looking behind them? The one who intervened was none other than the newly arrived Bai Kai. Seeing the boy in danger, he didn't hesitate to step in. "I should be the one asking that. Who are you people? What in the world happened to Enka village?" Bai Kai demanded. But the mysterious group ignores his words. They turn to the centipede pinned on the tree and start crying. "Sob, the sacred insect has been killed. An unforgivable sin, an unforgivable sin." The Tan Tin Mao Trung is the ultimate creation. To have it destroyed like this is your fault. One of them yells, holding the centipede's corpse. The other quickly shifts the blame to Bai Kai. "No, it wasn't me. It was that damn outsider. He's the blasphemer who deserves punishment." Back with Bai Kai, he's surprised by this unusual event. Thang Tin Mao Trung, that name never came up in the game, but it seems this thing exists. It just definitely shouldn't be in the beginner village, Bai Kai thinks to himself. Before he can think much, the 2 men in black cloaks charge. "Let us have your blood to avenge that tiny centipede. Kill him and use his body to incubate the gift of the Tang Tin Mao Trung Kill." Kill, they scream like rabid dogs. Too bad their skills don't live up to their threats. With a simple lean, our protagonist easily dodges both of their attacks. Then, with just a light swing of his arm, he sends both villains flying. The strike sends them flying, knocking their masks off and revealing 2 very sinister faces with centipede tattoos on their foreheads. The ones with that tattoo. So it's really them. Their old nest was supposed to be far from here, but they've shown up now. That means there are insectoids in this village, Bai Kai deduces. Meanwhile, the man in the white cloak realizes Bai Kai is a tough nut to crack and resorts to his secret weapon, a golden cockroach-shaped statue. "Don't think you've won, you blasphemer." The great gift of the Tan Tin Mao Trung is something you could never comprehend or imagine. As he finishes speaking, the statue emits a horrifying, ear-piercing scream. This causes the 2 underlings on the ground to begin trembling uncontrollably in pain. Next, ferocious spikes begin to burst from their bodies, twisting them into inhuman shapes. With his experience, Bai Kai knows what this is. That's right, this familiar type of transformation always begins with that. The Tam Uyen Ki Sin Trung. In just a few seconds, the 2 henchmen have transformed into half-human, half-insect beings. Seeing their successful transformation, the white-robed leader laughs maniacally. "Ha ha ha, this is the true form of the Ascended Ones. How beautiful and grand it is. And you dared to interfere with this noble ritual of ascension. For that you must die." As he speaks, he begins to manipulate the golden insect, making it emit several cries to control the creatures below. Then, hearing the sonic waves from the insect, the mutated creature opens its mouth and spews a stream of toxic gas straight ahead. It never reaches Bai Kai, who uses his cloak to block it. What these creatures spew is a powdered neurotoxin, a signature skill of the Ba Thuk. Once inhaled, it induces hallucinations, causing both the body and mind to rapidly decay. The leader, as if victory is already in his grasp, says confidently, "Stop this pointless resistance. The more you struggle, the more you'll suffer. Just accept your fate. Ha ha ha." Paying no mind to his words, Bai Kai leaps into the air and dives straight down, targeting the two insect creatures. Seeing this, they hurriedly retreat to dodge, but unfortunately, their speed is no match for Bai Kai. So he takes them down easily in a single strike. Who is your leader? You're not going to talk. How is this possible? He killed both of them in one attack, the leader screams, seeing his minions obliterated. Bai Kai's patience is wearing thin. I'll give you one last chance. Who is the Phi Thang you spoke of? In response, the lackey remains defiant. Why should I tell you anything? You messed with our village, so you're a dead man. With that, he turns to flee, but there's no way he can escape from Bai Kai. It seems even with the Ba Thuk's help, his mind is still stuck in the rookie village. There's no point in keeping him alive. Time for a reset. As he says this, Bai Kai casually throws a dagger, piercing the man's head and killing him instantly. The golden insect the man was using falls into Bai Kai's hands. Player Bai Kai has received 180 soul points and obtained the Di Trung Huan Tan. The Di Trung Huan Tan is not only incredibly ugly, its cry is also very irritating. It is a summoning tool for a strange type of beetle whose sonic vibrations can stimulate latent parasites within living beings, forcing them to reveal their true forms. Putting the beetle aside, Bai Kai focuses on why these people would appear in An Kia village. Assuming the mastermind is Trong Nien Jia, why would he risk bringing the Ba Thuk to a low-level village like this? What exactly is their goal? Information: the Ba Thuk parasites are unidentified alien parasitic eggs carried on a deep space vessel. After the vessel was destroyed, the creature's eggs were scattered and combined with the native organisms of this world. This led to uncontrollable genetic catastrophes. The Ba Thuk can be parasitic to plants, insects, animals, and even humanoids. There are 3 possible symbiotic outcomes with a host. Type 1 incompatible symbiosis. The host dies immediately. Type 2 orderly symbiosis, making it very difficult to determine if someone is infected just by looking at them. The third type is the most dangerous mutated symbiosis. The Ba Thuk activates special unknown powers within the organism, causing the host to mutate and increasing its strength and intelligence. After being parasitized, while the host's intellect remains, it develops an irresistible hive mind consciousness and a submissive nature. This is the Ba Thuk's method of survival. In the original game, there was a cult that worshipped the Ba Thuk, but these guys mentioned a Tan Tin Mao Trung. Is that the true form of the Ba Thuk, or something else? It parasitized. According to the original progression, the map to the Ba Thuk's lair shouldn't appear until the game's 3rd chapter. Besides Trong Nien Jia, I can't think of any other logical reason for this anomaly, Bai Kai thinks to himself. Meanwhile, the boy had been freed by Bak Kai, but he was still in a state of extreme panic. He kept mumbling, don't come over here. Help me. Don't kill me. I don't want to ascend. Don't kill me. Hearing this, a hint of pity appeared in Bak Kai's eyes. I remember this kid. Back in the beginner village, he was like an NPC, following me, a bright, free-spirited boy with so much potential. You completed another high-difficulty quest by yourself. I admire you so much for that, brother. I'm going to become strong just like you. Brother, look, I killed this beast all by myself. We have meat for tonight's gathering. Aren't I great? As the memories resurfaced in Bak Kai's mind, he asked himself, what in the world has this kid been through? With that thought, Bak Kai gently reassured him, don't worry, I'm not going to kill you, but you have to tell me who is behind this. Hearing the question, the boy calmed down slightly, but still clutched his head in fear and said, the village chief. It was the village chief. He turned into a crazed monster and drove the entire village mad along with him. Everyone who resisted him was either killed or locked in the dungeons to wait for death. My mother is in the dungeon. I barely managed to escape to get help, but in these deserted mountains, who can I even ask for help? If this continues, she'll be forced to become a monster. No, it can't be. I have to go back and save her. She can't become a monster. The more he spoke, the more frantic the boy became, and he suddenly ran off in a random direction. Seeing this, Bak Kai didn't stop him. He simply used a talisman to mark the boy and track his location. This was an intermediate Fu Van Dan Dao. It consumes a talisman to mark a target's specific location for 1 hour, and the target cannot disappear from your sight. The reason Bak Kai did this was to have the boy lead him to where everything started. Besides, he still couldn't understand. The village chief he remembered from his past life was a very kind person, so why was he so different in the boy's story? A kind-hearted chief harming the very villagers he dedicated his life to serving. No, I can't be deceived by appearances. I must investigate and find the real truth, Bok Kai thought. At that moment, the system issued him a main quest: resolve the strange phenomenon in An Ka village. Fight to purify and reclaim its original peace. The reward is 1 account, unlock point. Then our protagonist ventured deeper into the village and realized the situation was far worse than he had imagined. The state of An Ka village is much worse than I pictured. This was the starter village that gave me such precious warmth from the very beginning. I absolutely will not let it sink further into darkness. The scene changes to a prison. The boy whom Bok Kai rescued is now desperately hacking at a chain with his sword, but with no success. Damn it, this is useless. Why? Why can't I break this lock? Why am I this weak? I can't even break a single lock. How can I possibly save everyone? Damn it. The boy raged at his own helplessness. Meanwhile, the woman inside the cell gently advised him, "Don't worry about us anymore, Dina. We are beyond saving. But you still have a chance, so run. Run as far away as you can. Get away from this hell and never look back." Hearing his mother say this, Dina yelled, "No, I can't abandon everyone. I will definitely save all of you and get you out of here, even if it costs me my life." Saying this, the boy started swinging his sword to try again. This time, however, his sword was stopped by Bok Kai's hand before it could hit the chain. Bok Kai then explained, "This lock is magically reinforced. It won't break no matter how hard you strike it. You want to save people, don't you? Then just do what I tell you." Seeing it was Bok Kai, Dina, who had now recovered from his earlier panic, had time to ask questions. "It's you again. Why are you here? Are you someone sent by the Elena Dukedom to save the villagers? I suggest you leave this place immediately, because no one who has ever come here has managed to escape the village. The Elia Dukedom knows what happened here, and they even sent people." "Looks like this matter isn't simple," Bok Kai mused, stroking his chin. Then he explained, "I have no connection to the Elia Dukedom. In a way, I'm just a traveler returning home who couldn't turn a blind eye to this bizarre situation. Hometown. You used to be from our village. How come I've never seen you before?" Dina asked, but Bok Kai didn't have time for a lengthy explanation and immediately got to the main point. "That's not important. Let's not waste any more time. Tell me, where is the gathering spot for those bizarre insect people?" Hearing this, the boy knew it was no time to dally and answered at once, "You mean the Ascended. Their gathering spot is probably somewhere in the village, but I don't know the exact location." Upon hearing this, a troubled expression appeared on Bok Kai's face. Not knowing their location makes this difficult to handle. Even if I free everyone, they won't be able to run far or survive for long. So what do we do now? "Please, I'm begging you, save everyone," Dina said urgently. After a few moments of thought, Bok Kai's expression turned serious, and he made his proposal. "There's only one way. You have to be the bait to lure those things out. Then you let them take you to their meeting place." "I have to be the bait," the boy said, stunned. Overhearing this, his mother quickly intervened. "No, absolutely not. Everyone who has been taken there has never returned. That place is an evil abyss, a place of certain death. It's too dangerous. Hero, please forget about us. I beg you, just take my son and run. He is too young to die in a hell like this." As she spoke, she looked at Bok Kai with pleading eyes. However, Dina was now determined to save everyone. After a moment of contemplation, he made his decision. "I'll do it. I've seen your skills before I trust you." "Dina, my son," his mother said, stunned by his resolve. This made Bok Kai nod in acknowledgement. This kid's resilient nature hasn't changed one bit, even in a hell like this. With this thought, Bok Kai replied, "Very good. Your performance will determine whether everyone here lives or dies. Now, you must follow my instructions exactly." As he spoke, Bok Kai used a stealth skill and slowly vanished in front of Dina. "Yes," the boy replied. Time passed quickly. After discovering Dina had escaped, the villains apparently guessed he would come to this place to save his mother, and so they came looking. "You already escaped, so why are you still here? What happened to the men I sent to find you?" Dieter said, grabbing Dina firmly by the head. As if sensing something 2 seconds later, he shouted, "You still haven't undergone the ascension. Why do you keep rejecting the village chief's good intentions? He thinks so highly of you." Saying this, he lifted the boy's body into the air as he interrogated him. In response, Dina replied scornfully, "Good intentions. He's the one who ruined this entire village. I don't need his damned goodwill." After saying that, Dina attacked, but his strike was unfortunately blocked by thorny vines sprouting from Dieter's body. Dieter then controlled the vines to wrap tightly around Dina while starting to preach, "Trapped within a fragile body, the soul can never achieve ascension. The village chief is the one who granted us a new life and a future, yet you've been disobedient and stubbornly independent since you were a child. I really don't understand what he sees in you." After saying this, he began to tighten his vines, causing Dina's entire body to tremble in pain. Meanwhile, his mother, who was imprisoned inside, saw her son on the verge of death and tearfully pleaded, "Stop, please stop. He's your son. Why would you do this to him? Please spare him." Back to Dina, even as his body was about to be crushed, he gritted his teeth and said, "Get lost. He is not my father. He's a demon, a monster." As for Dieter, seeing that his son was truly on the brink of death, he finally stopped. He then ordered his lackeys nearby, "Take him to the underground altar. I will personally preside over his ascension ceremony." "Understood," the men shouted in unison. Meanwhile, Dieter turned to his wife with a cold gaze and said, "Give thanks for this holy grace. Soon our family will be reunited and together forever." And so they led Dina away as his mother watched with worried eyes. Back with Dieter's group on the way down to the altar, he spoke up and asked a question. "Is there still no news from the 3 men I sent out earlier? We have sent more people to look for them." Someone replied. As they were speaking, they arrived at the altar. Soon, Dieter placed his son on the altar and lectured Dina. "You've done nothing but disappoint me since the day you were born. But it's fine as long as you accept the ascension. You can be reborn as a good son, worthy of my acknowledgement." Below, Dina's eyes filled with anger as he heard this, and he yelled, "I don't need your acknowledgement. You've never been a good father. You'd get drunk and beat us, and now you're helping the village chief bring disaster to everyone. That's why we need the ascension. The Tan Tin Mao Chung can help us become a better race." Dieter roared, cutting the boy off. However, at that very moment, the tentacles on the backs of the 3 insect men began to twitch as if they sensed something. "What is it?" "Not only were the 3 we sent killed, but even the Tan Trung is gone," Dieter said in a daze. Then he threw his head back and screamed madly at the sky. "Why? Why must you disappoint me time and time again? We failed to protect the Tang Chung. We are guilty. We confess our sins." Next, Dieter prepared to sacrifice his own kin, transforming his arm into a sharp claw and threatening, "Dina, you're truly useless. You can't do anything right. Speak, who did this?" "I don't know." Dina screamed, enraging Dieter even more. "Why must you always defy my will? Why are you lying to me? I'll chop off your arms and legs right now so you can taste pain before the ascension ceremony." Hearing this, Dina, being fearless in the face of death, retorted, "If you want it done, let the village chief do it to me. You get lost." Before he could finish, a voice suddenly rang out, "Let him in." Hearing this voice, Dieter immediately stopped and bowed his head, saying, "Understood. I did it. It's behind this door." This is the source of all the suffering, Dina thought to himself. Then, following the village chief's order, Dieter's group tied Dina's hands and threw him inside. As soon as he saw the boy appear, the village chief spoke. "Do you know why, out of everyone in the village, I chose you? It's because you are full of energy and live independently, unlike the other listless villagers. You are worthy of inheriting my will. You are still young. Perhaps you can't understand why I do all this for our village. It's all right, you will understand soon enough. Before this ritual, I can tell you things that no one else knows." At this point, the village chief paused for a moment, as if recalling something, then continued. "Do you remember the plague that struck the village 2 years ago? The death toll was nearly half the village back then. I finally realized that humans are the weakest of all beings, and I was so powerless I couldn't do anything but cry and repent until that Trong Nien Jia appeared. He not only cured the plague in the village, but also brought it new hope, the larva of the Tan Tin Mao Chung. The Tan Tin Mao Chung grew up under my careful watch, and in turn it gave us the chance to ascend, although I had already ascended myself. But I have grown old and fear I can no longer bear the responsibility of raising the Tang Trung. So now I entrust this great task to you." Inkavin said, his voice filled with joy as his body transformed into a half-human, half-insect creature. Dina screamed, and of course he could never accept such an offer. "I don't want to become a cruel monster like you." But Inkavin was not one to give up so easily. First, he began to spit out a yellow bug from his insectoid mouth while gently coaxing, "Don't be afraid, the non-human form is merely symbolic. Just embrace the ascension. You will be able to join the collective consciousness, enjoying a joy and responsibility you've never known before. The future of the village is in your hands." Before he could finish his words, Dina somehow managed to free himself, grab a nearby rock, and smash it directly onto the bug, leaving it motionless and its fate unknown. This act pushed the village chief Inkavin into a rage. "What are you doing? I spent so much effort to raise a single Tan Vuong Trung, and you just killed it. Why? I gave you the best choice. Why did you have to refuse?" He roared in fury, and as Dina ran, he yelled back, "Who would want to inherit a twisted and cruel will like yours? It's because of cruel madmen like you that this village has no future. You can't escape. That door is not something you can open," Inkavin shouted. But contrary to his belief, Dina had no intention of running away. "Who said I wanted to run? I just wanted to lock the door. That way the people outside won't be able to get in. I've done everything I can. The rest is up to you." As he spoke, Dina quickly slammed the door shut, leaving the old village chief confused about what was happening. "What nonsense are you spouting? I truly shouldn't have placed my hopes in you. I should have killed you from the very beginning." With that, he tried to correct his mistake by moving in to finish Dina off. But just at that moment, as his sharp claw was about to reach the boy, a sudden flash of light sliced clean through the village chief's pincer. This caused him to scream in agony. "What's going on? Who are you?" the chief asked in bewilderment upon seeing Bai Kai. In response, Bai Kai calmly replied, "I am the one who can bring a true future to An Ka village, its savior. You're just an outsider here to destroy our village's peace." Inkavin roared, striking at them with his sharp leg. The attack left a deep crater in the ground, but Bai Kai had already pulled young Dina aside with swift agility. Seeing this, the old village chief grew even more frantic, saying, "All I've done is for the future of the village. Why are you all obstructing me?" He spoke with great conviction, as if Bai Kai's group were the villains. This made young Dina, who was hiding nearby, unable to hold back from retorting. "After doing so many heartbreaking and insane things, you still dare to say, 'It's for the village's sake'? Is turning everyone into monsters the future you want?" Responding to Dina, he swung his scepter at Bai Kai while answering monsters. Weak humans could never understand the power of the Tan Tin Mao Chung. "My choice is the only future for this village." After speaking, he turned his gaze towards Bai Kai. You bastard, always jumping around. Even if you're stronger than a normal human, I can make sure you won't escape in this confined space. My poison gas is everywhere." As he spoke, his body began to emit a purple poisonous mist that spread throughout the room. This was the Thuk Kot Didok skill. Seeing this, Bai Kai and Dina instinctively covered their mouths and noses. This poison gas is a unique skill of the Ba Thuk, and even if the chief's level isn't high, it can still paralyze the nerves and cause death. Bai Kai silently analyzed the situation, not rushing to attack in case the chief had another card up his sleeve. As for Chief Inkavin, his face had now completely transformed, unrecognizable from its original appearance. Acting as if victory was already his, he advised Bai Kai to just die and not waste time. "There's no need for a pointless struggle. Just lie on the ground like the other intruders and wait for me to cut you open. Become a suitable incubator for my Tan Chung." With that said, he gripped his scepter tightly and smashed it down towards Bai Kai. It was as if he intended to end it in one blow, but Bai Kai swiftly used his twin daggers to block the attack. This greatly surprised the chief. "How can you still move? Your poison is indeed deadly, but it's useless against me," Bai Kai said with a smile, adjusting his mask. It was the Type 3 Tin Hoa Dien Trao. This advanced mask keeps the wearer healthy in hazardous environments, like caves filled with poison. Unlike normal gear, it effectively purifies airborne viruses, and better models last longer. Now returning to Bai Kai. After tossing a Type 2 mask to Dina behind him, he felt a wave of relief. Among the items he had unlocked before, he was lucky to have kept one necessary for the Ba Thuk instance. Otherwise, they would have died here. The moment she put on the protective mask, all the previous pain vanished instantly. "This is truly miraculous," Dina thought in amazement. Meanwhile, on the other side, the village chief went into a frenzy upon hearing Bak Kai's explanation, attacking even more wildly while cursing nonstop, "Damn it, damn you! My poison gas has never failed before. How are you able to do this?" Without answering, Bok Kai calmly parried the attacks, while thinking to himself, "The chief has completely succumbed to madness. The man I once knew is gone." The scene shifts to Bai Kai's memories of his past life. At that time, the villagers found him passed out outside. "Who is this person? Why is he lying in front of our village gate? He's filthy and stinks. Hurry up and chase him away." Someone suggested, but they were stopped by the village chief in Kevin. "Carry him into the village and give him something to eat. Meeting a stranger in this desolate place is our fate. We can't just watch him die." Hearing him say that, another person quickly reminded him, "Our village doesn't have enough food to share with him." "Then give him my share," the old man said firmly. Time passed quickly, and the scene changed to a cart piled with the bodies of wild boars. Seeing this, the old village chief grinned from ear to ear. "Another year full of meat. Ha ha ha. You have brought life and hope to our village. I was right to save you back then. My ancestors have watched over this village for generations, but my body is growing weaker, and I can no longer bear the responsibility of protecting the village. Just consider it the delusion of a dying old man. Could you stay in the village and continue to protect it for me?" he proposed. The scene shifts to another time when Bai Kai decided to leave this place, and everyone saw him off with smiles on their faces. "Ha ha ha. Please don't mind the nonsense I said. A man's ambition is to see the world. How could I ask you to be tied down to a small place like this? Go, the world is so vast you have the ability to spread your wings. My only wish is that the distance between us grows ever larger. Occasionally I can look back on our humble beginnings." Returning to the present, Bai Kai had just given Kevin a deep gash in his insectoid abdomen. "Right now, the only thing I can do for you is to see you off on this final journey," Bai Kai thought to himself. Meanwhile, after taking a fatal blow from Bai Kai, village chief Kevin's life force was hitting rock bottom. "No, I can't die. If I die, who will protect this village? I don't want to die yet," he said, trembling as his giant body fell to the ground. At this moment, Bai Kai calmly advised, "That's enough. You have given everything for this village. It's time for you to rest now." Hearing him say that, the old man, unwilling to give up, grabbed his leg and questioned him. "Don't act like you know everything. You don't understand me at all." At that point, his voice fell silent, because the moment his hand touched Bai Kai's leg, a flash of light suddenly appeared in both of their minds, followed by images. Images of Kevin from Bai Kai's past life flooded into the old man's mind. Images of that Zhonggran Jia also flooded into Bai Kai's mind. At that time, he took out a centipede and said to the old man, "Are you afraid that your relatives and more than half the villagers will die from the plague? You don't have to be afraid anymore. The human body is too weak, but the sacred species can change your destiny, and that of the village. Why refuse?" Hearing him say that, the village chief replied, "Although I don't trust the Zhonggran Jia, this is the only path left. I can test it with my own body first, but if something goes wrong with what you call the ritual, I won't hesitate to destroy myself." Thus, this Zhonggran Jia began to let his holy insect enter the old man's body and transform it through the ascension ritual. However, this was an incredibly agonizing process, causing him to scream in pain. Seeing this, the Zhonggran Jia calmly explained, "The initial stage of ascension will indeed be excruciatingly painful, but if you endure this pain, what awaits you is unprecedented joy and strength." Back in the present, the recent images made Bai Kai ponder. Did my consciousness just connect with the village chiefs for a moment? So this is the root of everything. It's all because of that Zhonggran Jia. What is his goal now? Bai Kai wondered. On the other side, after seeing the images, village chief Kevin said with a tremble, "It seems you do understand some things. It turns out that in different fates we still shared such a past. But it's a pity that this world has completely changed now. If I was destined to be unable to change the village's future, then, for the sake of our past, can I entrust this village to you once more?" As he spoke, he plunged his hand deep into his chest without a hint of hesitation. Then Kevin pulled out a crystal with a holy insect sealed inside and offered it to Bai Kai. Having done this, the old man breathed his last immediately without waiting for his answer. At the same time, the system's congratulatory message sounded. The player has defeated the boss mutated village chief, received 700 gold coins, 1,800 soul points, and a rusted key. The two things I've always protected in my life are the village and this key. The key treasured by the village chief, it can open a mysterious door. Holy insect crystallization. Those who offer their flesh and blood to the holy insect will surely be rewarded. The holy insect evolves into a crystalline form inside the human body. Its current effects are unknown. Resentful ashes of the village chief. I am dead. Who will protect the village? Damn the one who deceived me. The resentment left by the village chief after his death finally condensed into tangible ashes. Back to Bai Kai, hearing the village chief's plea, he could only apologize silently in his heart. This is a request I can't possibly fulfill. I can only try to ensure the villagers' safety. Those who have turned into insectoids cannot be reversed. The only way is to eliminate them all. This village probably has no future left. Thinking of this, Bai Kai bent down and reached for the crystal. And once again, the moment his hand touched it, a few images began to stream into Bai Kai's mind. This feeling of a connected consciousness. It's happening again. This place is an underground cave. How can this barren village have such a large-scale underground cave? Bai Kai wondered, and quickly. The image was transmitted deep inside the cave, where a crystal fragment was placed. That's a fragment of the world soul. How can there be such a large fragment of the world soul under the beginner's village? This is clearly unbelievable. Bai Kai was shocked. At this moment, the mysterious Zhonggran Jia seemed to feel Bai Kai's gaze, so he turned around and said with a smile, "Oh, so that old man is finally dead, and how did you stumble upon my secret? Interesting, it seems you're no ordinary person. Come here. I'll be waiting for you if you truly are not afraid." He spoke with confidence, causing Bai Kai to quickly withdraw his consciousness. "Waiting for me? Then I can't miss that appointment." But the scene in my consciousness just now didn't show the specific location of the fragment and that guy. How am I supposed to find my way there? Bai Kai thought to himself. At the same time, on the outside, Dieter's group had sensed that the village chief had been killed and started to shout. "The village chief has been harmed. Quickly ring the bell and gather everyone. We must deal with the culprit." Dieter yelled, "Yes, sir." They replied in unison. Then, following Dieter's command, there was actually no bell, but instead a yellow bug began to emit piercing sounds. The sound echoed throughout the village to alert the others. However, they didn't know that at this moment. Outside the village, a group of people had also noticed this signal. Making such a loud noise, it seems someone has arrived at An-Ka village before us, someone said. The leader replied softly, "It doesn't matter who got here first, they can no longer be saved. Just follow the church's instructions. Wipe out everyone in An-Xie village without exception. Make it completely disappear from this world." This nun said coldly. They were the Rose Nun Corps. And what a coincidence. Before they had taken more than a few steps, they encountered a group of insect people returning as reinforcements. Huh, are they intruders? Kill them. "Don't let them get a single step closer to the village," someone in the group shouted. At the same time, the whole group rushed forward to attack. But unfortunately for them, they had picked the wrong opponent. On the other side, the leading girl remained incredibly calm. Mutated insects. No wonder the stench is getting stronger. Is this the reason why people from the church never return? She deduced. Meanwhile, the nuns behind her understood her meaning and immediately rushed forward to intercept. And the result was not surprising. Although these villagers had their strength enhanced, they had almost no combat experience. So as soon as they clashed with the nuns, they were utterly crushed. Even more fiercely, there were two girls in the back, using magic and firearms to target the insect people, riddling them with holes in an instant. As for the leader of the group, he charged directly at the red-robed nun. "Your strength is completely different from the last ones who ambushed the village, but we are not afraid. You're not running, but fighting back instead," she said in surprise, pulling out two whips that looked like the spines of some animal. As it turned out, with a single swing, she shattered the insectoid men into countless pieces. It seems that besides these fearless insects, this village hides secrets we don't know about. That must be why the church places so much importance on it. There seems to be a deeper reason. What could the buried secret be? I'm getting really curious, she said with interest. Returning to Bai Kai, the cause of everything in the village was now clear. The chief's family was tasked with protecting the village, but they were actually guarding a world soul fragment buried underground. Lacking knowledge, they simply treated it as a sacred secret to protect, unaware of the immense power it held or how to use it. But that Trong Nien Jia knew. He not only pinpointed the fragment's location, but could also use its power to strengthen the dimensional insectoids and bewitch the villagers. The system did say that the Trong Nien Jia possesses unique secrets and abilities. Whatever his specific powers are, I can't just hand over a World Soul Fragment to him. The World Soul Fragment is one of the 3 highest-tier treasures in this world. It contains unparalleled power far beyond human comprehension, not to mention the 8 fragments that became the foundations of the 8 nations. Even a contaminated ice-sized piece is incredibly valuable. The higher the purity of the fragment, the higher its value. And the size of the fragment hidden beneath this village is likely second only to those of the 8 nations. Even if it's contaminated, it's definitely enough to build a large-scale city-state. Although I'm still using the game settings, this is the real world. I can't possibly become a king on my own, which is why I must obtain this fragment. Ba Kai was telling himself this when Dina's voice snapped him out of it. Amazing, you're truly amazing. The ringleader, the village chief, is finally dead. Everyone can be saved now, thank you. In response, Ba Kai calmly explained, no, even though the chief is dead, those who have mutated cannot be restored. Ignoring them will only lead to more innocent people getting hurt, so they must all be dealt with, including your father. How can that be? The ringleader is already dead, why, Dina said bitterly. And though he didn't want to, Ba Kai had to state the reality. This world is just that cruel. If you don't have the power to change things, you can only go along with them. I know, because my mother always taught me, that you can only live easily in this world by abandoning your humanity. But we're people, not monsters. We have to hold on to our humanity. So no matter how many cruel things that man did, he's still the one who gave me life, Dina lamented. But his story was cut short by loud banging from outside the door. Look what you've done, Dina. Daring to collude with an outsider to kill the village chief. Now that it has come to this, open the door. It's your only way to survive. If you don't, I'll kill both you and your mother. Forget about me, son. Just run. His mother's voice rang out, causing Dina's face to twist in disbelief. Then the boy clenched his fists and mocked himself. Haha, I was so foolish to still hold on to some illusion about him. So please, leave the final blow that ends his life to me. I will spend the rest of my life repaying your kindness. The boy's voice was filled with resolve, as if he was truly ready to forsake his own kin for the greater good. This made Ba Kai see the boy in a new light. If he was just a pre-programmed NPC in the game before now, he was a real person of flesh and blood full of humanity. Normally, retaining one's humanity means retaining a weakness, but he was not weak. Then the two of them calmly opened the door. I've opened the door, you are not to harm my mother, Dina shouted, and seeing her son come out, the mother's eyes went wide. My foolish son, I told you to forget about me and run. Why didn't you listen? Hearing her, the man named Dieter sneered. Ha, it's not like he had anywhere to run anyway. Don't make any sudden moves or I will kill her right now. Don't touch her. Even without me, she's still your wife. Don't you have any feelings for her at all? What is it you're trying to do? Dina screamed in a rage. In response to Dina's words, Dieter replied with a cold expression, feelings are merely a burden for humans. We have ascended freeing ourselves from such lowly attachments long ago. I can spare you and let you leave. But you must hand over the key you got from the village chief. Don't play dumb and don't think you're so great for killing him. That man was muddled, but we are not. Hearing this, Ba Kai began to speculate. He knows about the key, so he must know how to use it. I might as well play along. With that thought, Ba Kai spoke up. I give you the key, you release the hostage. All right, he agreed, and then Ba Kai threw the key while the other man pushed Dina's mother forward after catching it in his hand. Dieter burst into maniacal laughter. That old man was never willing to give me the key, but didn't I get it in the end anyway? Ha, I can finally meet God and achieve the ultimate ascension. At this, he reined in his laughter and his expression changed. I didn't just abandon my feelings. I also tend to forget words I've said or promises I've made. In your next life, try not to be so trusting. Deal with them. After saying that, he turned to leave, letting his hounds charge forward. Too bad for them, these dogs bit the wrong person. And this was exactly what Ba Kai wanted. Now that they no longer had a hostage, he could go all out without any worries. Is that so? If I gave it to you so easily, then I can take it back just as easily. With that, Ba Kai used his skill, Dam Gai Dao Dan, causing countless spikes to erupt from the ground, instantly turning the group of insectoids into human honeycombs. Dieter, who hadn't gotten far, turned pale. How is that guy so strong? He's completely different from the one they sent to raid the village before. Could it be that him dealing with the village chief wasn't a fluke? Realizing he was no match for Bok Kai, the coward tucked his tail and ran. Damn it, stop him. No matter how strong he is, he's still just one person. We definitely have the advantage in numbers. Dieter yelled his orders while making a run for it. However, he hadn't run more than a few steps when a subordinate rushed over from the distance shouting, "No, it's bad. The village has been invaded. They're killing all of our people. It's the Tunu Hoa Hong." The subordinate barely got the words out before a throwing knife pierced through his head. It was aimed straight for Dieter, but having passed through his subordinate, its momentum was greatly reduced, allowing Dieter to block it easily. Damn it, the Holy See of the Duchy of Alit sent out the Tunu Hoa Hong squad, he said, gritting his teeth. Meanwhile, the red-robed female leader who had just arrived was a little surprised to hear this. For some country bumpkins from this poor backwater to know our nickname, that's a surprise. And yet, you still dare to arrogantly come here and kill our people. You clearly have no respect for our holy order. Therefore, none of you can be left alive. You all deserve to die. This woman was the captain of the nun squad, Lily, level 40. As she said this, she noticed Bok Kai standing behind Dieter. She instantly dashed forward with incredible speed, severing one of Dieter's arms as she passed, causing him to scream in agony. You must be a different one, right? Let's see now this scent. It seems the secret of this village is connected to you, she said while sniffing the air around Bok Kai. And the main character himself immediately recognized who this group was. Damn it. Why are these crazy persistent women here? It looks like they want to take the On the Jioi fragment for themselves. This is even harder than I imagined, Bok Kai thought to himself. Speaking of the Tunu Hoa Hong battle group, they are a unit under the Scarlet Holy See of the Elite Duchy and are its most powerful and devout enforcement agency. It consists of carefully selected girls with looks and figures far more beautiful than ordinary people, but meeting the appearance requirement is only the first step. Each chosen girl must drink a specially concocted hallucinogenic drug, also known as the Chat Long Tai Sin, and endure immense mental and physical torture. Only the young women who can pass through the gates of death and survive are chosen. Only then can they officially join the Tunu Hoa Hong battle group, after which they undergo brutal combat training. That's why every one of these nuns is a formidable opponent. Based on my current level and skills, I might have a chance in a one-on-one fight, but I stand no chance against 5 of them. I have to think of something. Bok Kai thought anxiously as he slowly backed away to maintain his distance. Meanwhile, Lily began whipping the corpses of the bug hybrids and started teasing him. "Why are you so scared? That can't be right. I got the sense that you were very strong." Hearing her words, Bok Kai forced a smile. "How could I dare show off my meager skills in front of you all? Everyone knows the reputation of the Tunu Hoa Hong battle group. Still, thank you for arriving in time to deal with these mutated cultists and save the village." Across from him, Lily couldn't help but burst out laughing. "Haha, I didn't expect you to be such a smooth talker saying all the things I love to hear. But you're wrong about one thing. We didn't come here to save this place, we came to destroy it. We want this village to be wiped from the face of the earth completely and cleanly." Nearby, the troublemaker Dina started to protest. The ones responsible should be the ones to pay. The villagers were all killed by the chief and those mutated people. Now that the culprits are dead, why do you want to kill us? We're innocent. Hey, don't say things like that. His mother quickly pulled him back, trying to stop him from doing something foolish. In response, Lily immediately attacked with her whip while complaining. "That doesn't matter. We just follow the orders of the Toa Tang. It's not our place to judge who is innocent." Back to Bok Kai. Just as the whip was about to strike Dina, he rushed in to save him, deflecting it with his sword. "Wait a moment," Bok Kai shouted. "Now this is more like it. If you have the guts to oppose the Toa Tan, why pretend to be so humble? Killing people is fun, but I wanted to save you for last." "I guess I'll have to make it the first thing I do now," she said with a bored tone. Hearing this, Bok Kai didn't get angry, but instead spoke pleasantly. No, I have no intention of opposing the Toa Tan. I just have a few questions. I wonder what misunderstanding could have led them to issue such an order. Based on my knowledge, the Toa Tan wouldn't harm innocent civilians. Surely you know that as well." Hearing what Ba Kai said, Lily paused and laughed loudly. Haha, the Toatan is a top-secret organization, yet an outsider like you claims to know about it. Your jokes are pretty funny. This girl doesn't believe me, Ba Kai thought before murmuring a piece of doctrine. Life is like a blood-soaked petal, beautiful and fleeting. Faith is the sturdy root that allows its beauty to blossom. This is not just a struggle for life, but an eternal oath of faith. That's the most secret and sacred doctrine of our Toathan, Scarlet. How could you possibly know it? One of the girls in the group shouted. Immediately after, the entire group rushed to attack Ba Kai. Regardless of the reason, when the most sacred teachings are spoken from the mouth of a man, there is only one outcome: death. But even in this extremely dangerous situation, Ba Kai remained calm. If reciting doctrine isn't enough to convince you, then what about this? As he spoke, his left hand began to glow. It formed the phantom image of a blooming thorny rose throwing the group backwards. That sigil enhances combat techniques. There's no mistaking it. That's the highest sigil of honor from our Toatang, the Huyet Sak Hoa Hong. Even our captain doesn't possess such a high-level sigil. How does that man have it? They said in astonishment while Lily fell silent. And this made sense. How did he get it? You have to complete all the side quests in the Toatan Huyet Sak. Although it doesn't increase combat power, it's enough to fool the people of the Toatan. The Huyet Sak Ho Hong blooms and wilts as one life and faith are a sigil of the Toatan Scarlet. The levels are distinguished by color, from white, yellow, pink, red to blood red. Blood red represents the highest level with authority, second only to the Pope. Seeing the group begin to waver, Ba Kai confidently declared, I wanted to get along with you all as an ordinary person, but now I don't have to pretend anymore. Time to lay my cards on the table. Do you still think I'm not qualified to question the judgment of the Toatan? Hearing his words, Lily nodded in agreement. That goes without saying. We will temporarily spare the uninfected civilians in the village and report back to the Toatan before a final decision is made. But the mutated ones must die. At that moment, Dieter knew how to seize an opportunity. While they were talking, he immediately turned and fled. This is my chance. While they aren't paying attention, I have to escape through that door. Once I'm there, I'll gain the power to eliminate all of them. That was what he was thinking, but unfortunately, his little trick didn't escape Lily's notice. She immediately swung her whip to attack him. But at that very moment, a dagger flew from Ba Kai's hand, knocking the whip aside and angering her. What do you think you're doing? Protecting the innocent is one thing, but why are you protecting a criminal? Are you specifically targeting me? Even with a high-level sigil, protecting a criminal is unforgivable. Hearing her accusation, Ba Kai calmly explained, I'm not opposing you, and I'm not protecting a criminal. I just can't tell you the reason right now. He then thought to himself, I don't want to fight them, but how can I find the soul world fragments if I let them kill that man? It's better for her to hate me than the innocent villagers. After speaking, Ba Kai used his marking skill on Dieter. Meanwhile, Lily attacked him directly without a moment's hesitation. You have committed a serious crime. Whatever your reason, we'll just bring your corpse back for an explanation with the Toatan. As she spoke, her whip passed right through Ba Kai's body, but it was no use. It was only an afterimage, invisibility. That's a skill from the assassin class. One of the nuns frowned in thought. The fluctuations of his aura haven't completely vanished. We can still track him by sensing it. But should we continue the pursuit, she asked. Lily nodded firmly. But first, let him run for a bit. I want to see exactly what he's planning. Go ahead and run. The more you struggle, the deeper you dig your own grave. Then I'll kill you and present your head and your sigil to the Toatang, she muttered. She also had a private thought. My own honor rank will improve greatly then. You truly are a blessing to me. Meanwhile, as Ba Kai was chasing after Dieter, he was also thinking, at my current level, this invisibility skill can't fool them completely. The fact that they aren't chasing me means they're trying to bait me. To get the Soul World fragment, I'll have to fight at least 2 difficult battles. Looks like it's time to unlock my second game account. As if hearing Ba Kai's thoughts, a system notification appeared. Player Ba Kai, you have enough points to unlock a new account. Do you wish to use them? Use them, Ba Kai confirmed. New game account, unlocking Kai Nguyen Van Min. Importance of Civilization, a construction simulation strategy game. Introduction travel across time and space. Welcome to the Ki Nguyen Van Min journey. You are the leader steering the ship of civilization through the long river of time to finally reach the endless stars. Game Account Leader. Introduction, a supplementary non-combat account that can be used alongside the main combat account to start the Ki Nguyen Van Min game in the current world. Game unlock progress 25%. So, it's unlocking Kai Nguyen Van Min. With this game account, I can rebuild the desolate Anka village into a magnificent city-state, laying the foundation for me to become a king. That's an essential ability for the middle and late game, but it doesn't seem to help with my immediate problems. Not necessarily the game unlocked 25% of its gameplay and support resources. There must be some rules or powers that can enhance my combat abilities. I have to find him as soon as possible, he told himself before sensing Dieter's position again. Let's see, the man's fixed location is in a stationary place. Is the final decisive battle about to begin? The scene shifts to a place deep underground where a secret door has also been built. And right after running inside, Dieter began to report. Our village was invaded by outsiders, and even the village chief was murdered. I barely managed to steal this Tan Dao key before I dared to come here and see you. Please grant me the power to wipe out those outsiders. Your Holiness, Duke Tan Cha. He said this as he began to kneel before a man whose body was covered in countless tentacles. You have proven your sincerity with your actions, and now I will grant you supreme power. Go and carry out your promise. As he spoke, a centipede crawled out from this mysterious figure and shot directly into Dieter's mouth. And right after that, countless sharp spikes began to emerge from his body as it underwent a transformation. Power is flooding my entire body. The transformation is almost complete. Those who dare to disrupt the order of the village will soon face divine punishment. Dieter let out a scream as his body completely transformed into a